Today's episode of PTG is brought to you by the one and only Trans Labs that brought the world two amazing products. First off, Transfuse, which is a hydration multiplier, and most recently, they just dropped Transcend, which is a nootropic energy formula. No matter what you use, when you choose Trans Labs, you are going to be boosted and you are going to be ready to charge the paintball field and win out there. With Transfuse, that is a premium rapid hydration multiplier and immunity fortifying formula scientifically designed to replenish you at the cellular level. And they use all natural ingredients in this product. We've got zinc, we've got vitamin B6, we've got vitamin C, sodium, potassium, choline, and it is an amazing way to make sure that you're hydrated and prepared to play top-level paintball. When it comes to Transcend, that is a premium nootropic energy formula designed to increase cognitive performance, elevate mood and clarity while supporting long-term brain health, and it's going to leave you feeling great with no crash or jitters. It's one of the only products in the nootropic space backed by research studies to ensure the formula is correct for optimal performance. It is more potent than anything on the market, and it will keep you charged and ready to win out there. I take 1 scoop, but if you're stimulant sensitive, take a half scoop, and if you want that LFG dose to launch to the moon, dump 2 scoops in your drink and you are going to be flying down that paintball field. Comes in 2 delicious flavors, Baja Blast and Skittles Candy for the Transcend. And for the Transfuse, they have 2 new flavors as well, Pineapple Express and Hawaiian Punched. So if you get a chance, head over to translabs.com. That's TRANZLABS.com. Use code PLAYTHEGAME and you'll get 10% off. If you subscribe to a monthly delivery service, you also get 10% off as well. So you could take advantage of 20% off on these products. Head over to translabs.com and give it a go. This episode is brought to you by Lone Wolf Paintball. They are an amazing online supplier and have been around since the beginning of the game as Michigan's premier paintball field and paintball supplier since 1987. They are rapidly expanding into the online retail space and supplying everything you need to be the best paintball player you can be. They have got it all. Head over to lonewolfpaintball.com and shop all of your favorite brands. And they also boast amazing customer service and will have this out to you with same-day shipping, which is amazing. It's always nice to know that your stuff is on its way immediately so you can start to use it that very next weekend of play. Check out their YouTube, Lone Wolf Paintball, and their Instagram, @LoneWolfPB, and stay up to date with all of their deals and sales. Play the Game podcast is immensely honored to have them on board, and we cannot wait for you guys to check out lonewolfpaintball.com and become a part of their community.
What's going on, PTG fam? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This episode, we have Joey Blute, the head coach of Tampa Bay Damage, the winners of the most recent Lone Star Open. It was an epic event, blind layout, all sorts of fun, all sorts of madness for the minor NXL event, and Tampa Bay Damage is back on top. They've been working to bring this organization back to the top of the league for quite some time now. They have a hell of a roster, and it was only a matter of time since they got the win, and they finally put all the pieces together. Everybody showed up, showed out, had a great event, and getting to sit down with Joey was a fantastic conversation. I think you guys are going to love this one. So get ready to tune in. I'll see you in the show.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication.
And the crowd starts chanting Harmon.
Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game.
He came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back from the Dallas Lone Star Open. We have the champs in the building, the man of the hour, coach of Tampa Bay Damage, Joey Blute. My man, what's happening?
Another day, dude. You know, you
another
win the event,
day.
You win the event, and then you win the race to the airport to catch the flight to get home. You know, 2 wins in one night.
Oh, you still flew home Sunday night?
Man, I got a wife, 2 kids. We got a team full of 30-plus-year-old married men with jobs they got to get to on Monday. Like, we're in a different phase, bro. We're in a different phase.
Yeah, I hear that. It's not like it used to be.
No, and when it's Texas to Florida, dude, like you can get on an 8:30 flight and be home by midnight, 1 a.m. That's what you got to do.
Yep, the grind doesn't quit. You win that tournament, the grit don't quit.
Doesn't at all.
Yeah,
at
Dalton, Blake, and myself were stuck there until Monday morning. I had a Monday morning flight at like 5:30 a.m. It was miserable.
That is miserable.
It was storming like crazy at that time, too. When I went to take off to the airport, it was I woke up and I was like, the Zeus is outside, you know?
Yeah.
Bro, I had to drive.
We 100% would have missed our flights if it wasn't for the fact that I guess the weather got bad right before and they delayed us by like 35 minutes or something. So we just, I mean, figure you got 7 dudes that got to get showers because ain't none of us want to get on a plane after that, all soaked in champagne and whatnot.
Yep,
so,
that's the best though, man.
Right? It is.
Nothing better than that.
That shit is like mace in your eyeballs, though. I ain't gonna lie. It's like mace. I was like, I can't see.
Yeah, it's the best burn. Absolutely.
What kind of champagne did you guys have?
I don't know. Whatever they gave us, and we were just spraying.
Brute, baby.
Whatever that stuff was.
I was saying after the last one, I was like, we need to start getting some better champagne up in this deal, you know?
Yeah, you probably ain't wrong. You're probably ain't wrong. They spread it all over me, and I was like, man, I'm the one driving this damn van. I'm gonna get pulled over.
Yep.
Yeah.
You've
been drinking? No, I didn't have a sip of this shit. It's just all over me.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna need you to breathalyze.
Right. Yeah. I'd have failed.
Kids these days. We were leaving Top Golf Saturday night. We went to Top Golf, and a few of us had just a couple drinks. Archie was driving; he didn't drink. And then as we're leaving, Mikey opens a beer and pours it on the back of me and Archie. I'm like, Mikey, what are you doing? What are you doing,
Attaboy,
Mikey?
Kids.
Kids,
I'm like, man, we're so beyond that phase. Please don't do that. And then we got to get in the car and drive. Come on, man.
Right.
Come on.
Right. So you just
see what you didn't know.
Send them to go hang out with some semi-protein for a week and be like, go get it out of your system, kid. Go get it out of your system.
He had 2 more cans in his pockets too.
He was ready. He was locked and loaded. Mikey ain't no joke. Oh my God. Yeah.
Mikey's a great kid, man. I really appreciate all he's doing in the game right now, and AZ Paintball as well. You know, he's a really big name in Arizona, and just super proud of that kid. All the hard work he's putting in.
He's a huge up and comer, man. Like, he's definitely one of those sleeper you guys picked up where I was like, who is this guy? Oh, look, he's fast. Another fast guy. But then I don't know. It seemed like he just flipped a switch and went from being like, look, another fast guy. Like, damn, he's killing a lot of people. Oh shit! Now we got to watch out for him.
Well, he understood something. He's understanding the game.
Yeah.
Really in depth and how the layers all work. Which obviously to get W's the way that we've all won, and we know those layers of what that takes, and it's a multi-layered cake to get to that W.
It's funny because I bet Lackey's kind of the same way, and we can get your insight on that. But for the outsiders and for me personally, I haven't followed him for too long, but it seems like all of a sudden he's this high level player. Obviously played very well for you guys in the last event you guys just won, but it's not just a flip that gets switched, right? This is years in the making. Like Mikey has been chopping at the bit for over 10 years. I remember him driving out to Ironman tryouts when me, Mouse, were on the team back in 2013, and just doing whatever he could to carve a name for himself. And so he's been working his butt off for so long, and he has such a good mind for just trying to learn as much as he can. Everything is, what can I do better? Yes, sir. Okay. How about this? How about that? He'll call me during the week sometimes and ask stuff. And at this point, I'm like, it's funny. Dalton and I were talking about this actually at this last event, how much we love Mikey and how funny it is. Sometimes he'll call us and ask about stuff. I'm like, bro, you know better than we do at this point. You've gotten to that point. You're in that situation. You know better than we do, man. We're going to come to you for tips.
Yeah,
but
doubt.
It's still
it's just honestly, that is a lot like Lackey. Lackey was he's probably 6 years pro now, but he was that cat that was on Seattle Thunder, one of their better players. And then he moved over to the NYX, was one of their better players. Then went to NRG, was one of their better players. I mean, we've had our eye on that kid for probably about 4 years now because he was in North Carolina. So it's one of those easy flights. So we've been watching him, but it's I don't know. Since I came back to Damage, I have a different mindset now when I'm bringing players onto the team. If I don't think I can use you and you're in a situation where you can keep getting better, I'd rather you stay in that situation, right? Because I'm picking you up to do what? Ride the pine? I don't really want to do that. You're going to get better practicing with us, but how much better are you really going to get? If you're a superstar on, no offense to those teams, one of those mid-tier teams, which, they're all getting better. But if you're a superstar on one of those mid-tier teams, that experience you're getting of playing every single point in pro, even if you're getting your teeth kicked in, is better than riding the pine for us. So that last year with NRG, he hit me up and he's like, hey, man, it's a lot of travel. I like these guys. I like being with them. Can you do anything? And I just told him straight up. I was like, look, dude, I'm telling you, it's a different levels to this shit. If you make this jump, you ain't the big fish no more. You're a little fish in a big-ass pond with some damn fucking killer whales. And you got to earn your way onto this. Like, it's not going to be given to you. If you're willing to put the work in and you're willing to prove that you can do it, I'll bring you on. Because I mean, naturally, he's super athletic, super gifted. He's a solid paintball player. And as he gets more confidence, like, that kid is going to be, he's going to be something. I mean,
That's
we're
awesome.
2 events in, and he's already where he's at.
How old is he?
He's like 32.
Okay, yeah,
He's a young buck.
not a kid. It's funny how we look at
That's a kid
like
compared to all
Arturo.
the asses.
Arturo for the longest time, I think Arturo's like 36, but I look at him the same way, almost like he's younger than me, you know. But it's just your time in the game per
Right.
se, and I think
Right.
from a sports perspective, you know, that's what we mean when we talk about the younger players in a way.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny how people think that, this stuff just happens overnight because they see a player all of a sudden, one day they're just like, dang, this player is amazing. Well, that player has been training their ass off for 8 years prior to that, and in the trenches and, getting their teeth kicked in, like you said, for a long time before any of that starts to, process and start to become what it is.
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool. I mean, the process is pretty cool. I mean, he's one, for instance, and then like Chris Horn is another, for instance, right? Chris Horn was D2 2 years ago. We picked him up.
I don't even know who that is. I was watching some of the film and I was like, number 16, Horn. Who is this guy?
Yeah. Well,
shout out to Horn. Let's go.
Yeah. After that weekend, when he got in that 1-on-1 with Greenspan and shot him, like that kind of stuff, like for kids like that, like, I mean, he's a kid, like he's like 20 something, 22, 23. Like he's like a true young buck, but he's been, he grinds like that dude has actually got our guys to grind, our vets to grind harder than they ever have before because he's out there every week. He's the first one in the chat, like, who's coming out Sunday? Who's going to be there? Where are you guys at? Why aren't you here? It's 9 a.m. We're supposed to be playing. It gets real hot here in Florida, boys. Where are you at? So like he's keeping them accountable and forcing them to put in more than they even want to put in. And I mean, honestly, man, like every team needs that, right? Like we're all motivated to a certain extent. But as you get older and you get more responsibilities, and Tyler, I know you know this, you got 2 kids, like it's the same thing. Like it changes things a little bit, right? Like even if you go play till noon, now you still want to go spend the rest of the day with your kid, right? When we were 22, 23 without any kids, shit, we'd be out there from sun up to sundown. I'll go ref half a day so I could get more paint to go shoot some more, right? Like it was just different mindsets of different things. But when you bring someone in like that, that's that hungry, that wants it that bad, I mean, it's huge for the guys. And all these dudes have proved themselves. Like they're busting their ass. I mean, I ran 10 dudes at that event. I went line 1, line 2, same 5 guys on every line, and I switched the lines every single point. I didn't back-to-back anyone but twice, and that was once because every point we switched sides, right? So I had line 1 on the close side, line 2 on the far side, and I was like, shit, man, what happens if for some reason I have to play a back-to-back, or what happens in the morning when the sun's coming up on this side, and I keep putting line 2 on the shitty side with the sun in their eyes? They're not doing as good, but they also can't see anything, right? So I was like, all right, let me switch them up. So I switched them up twice, total, the whole thing. Besides that, everybody on my team did 50% of the work, which I can't think of the last time a team did that much of that where, I mean, people rotate players through, but doing solid lines like that. And my thought process was these kids that we got, they're not going to get any better just doing what we've been doing. I mean, they can, but it's going to take for fucking ever. So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to fast forward this stuff. I'm going to give these kids some real life experience. And
well, Joey Blute's always good for some real life experience. He's going to give you that kick, and you can see the work ethic. You know what I'm saying? You can see the work ethic and what you guys are doing. And thank God, shout out to my kids and everything. They're like, Dad, you're going to go play paintball, right? Get on out of here.
Yeah.
They're like, go, they know Dad's working hard to make sure that we can have a good experience. And that's what it's all about. It's about the work ethic, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Joey, do you think you guys approach the event, or at least you as the coach, with the mindset of I've seen enough in practice to know that everyone deserves to play, so we're going 50% share time, or was it more of a this is better for the team in the long run, so let's see how it goes, and then it worked out?
I would say it's about 50% of both, to be honest with you. So like when we practice, normally when we practice, we'll set up, depending how many guys we'll have, we'll set up 2 lines or whatever, and we'll go out and practice. I really enjoyed the blind layout aspect of this for one major reason. We were actually able to go out and practice those 2 weekends, and we were actually able to work on teamwork and individuals getting better. Like I never get to coach that. When it's a layout, it's a layout. Like you're spending the whole damn time learning the layout. I don't even talk to the guys half the time. I'm watching other people play their points, trying to learn more about the layout. right?
Mhm.
I give them a little bit here and there, but you don't really get time to spend with people because it's just so much about the damn layout, learning every bounce shot, every angle, every twist, every turn, this sweet spot. If I stand in this spot, I stand in that spot, right? You're just testing the field the whole time. So, I mean, real talk, we played hyperball. Like, we practiced hyperball 10 on 10. We played the killers with 10 dudes and our 10 dudes on a hyperball field. You want to get better at communicating in
That's
paintball?
awesome.
Go play hyperball. Like, you
Oh,
can't
yeah.
hear shit out there. It's so damn noisy. Like, it's scary loud, right? I mean, we did.
I love it so much.
We did the full, the 15 ball or 13 ball, whatever we shoot per second.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't slow the guns down or anything. And the dudes were just, and from there, we did like 5 or 6 10-man games out there. And then we went back and did regular airball stuff, the regular X-ball type stuff. Bro, the communication, holy shit, the dudes were so much louder. Didn't even know they were louder, right? It just got so much crisper, so much cleaner. I'm going to start doing that from now on. And y'all want to come practice us, we're going to do some hyperball before we start playing in the damn layouts.
Dude, that sounds great.
Really, yeah, that stuff's really valuable. I mean, that's a big reason we've played the ICC every year is because it's good for the team. And, Tyler and I constantly advocate people getting out and playing in the woods, playing on these concept fields, because for communication, you have to be so much more descriptive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you have to have like really good conversations to put stuff together out there. So it's not just, your generic X-ball codes. It's you have to talk,
Mm-hmm.
you have to communicate,
Right.
you have to make sure that your teammate understands what you're trying to portray, and it kind of like it forces you to in a way calm down a little bit because otherwise you're not getting that point across.
Also, there's typically way more bunkers on a hyperball field, so it really presses your mind to dial in that many bunkers, and then when you dial it back, all the bunkers on your 5-man field, you're like, oh, this is half the work of trying to remember these. And I can't say enough good things about hyperball as well. We actually, Cap Factory, we just won a hyperball tournament a couple weekends ago out in Sacramento, and that was, man, I want to play more hyperball. I love hyperball.
Yeah. It was really cool. And then honestly, like going into a blind layout, we have a general idea how we're going to name fields, right? We all do. So it's pretty simple for us to get them down. Memorizing it becomes a little more difficult. But if you go out to our hyperball field where there's 96 fucking props out there,
yeah.
And literally I'm like, we show up and they're getting ready to go do. We're all parked at the airball area like everyone does at CFP, and I'm like, cool. Now grab your shit. We're gonna go walk over here and play hyperball. They're all like, what? So they had like 5 minutes to name all the bunkers and remember the names, right? So they do that. We play those 5 points. We go over to the airball. I'm like, this will be easy. It's a brand new blind layout, but we should have this thing memorized within minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that helped a lot too. I mean, there's a lot of that stuff that,
Certainly.
and honestly, it's just fun. It's different.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Yeah. So on the topic of blind layouts, Joey, what did you think of a blind layout and the changeup?
I love the idea of blind layouts. Do I believe that it was a completely blind layout? No. It's just a factual thing. Like, I mean,
what do you mean?
That's always been the issue. Well, I mean, there was pictures floating around out there, people playing on practice fields with a Dorito and a snake on the same side. I'm sorry. I guarantee you, none of you guys would have assumed that was the layout ever set up a blind layout like that, because it doesn't make any sense. Because we've never
saw
done
the
it
same
before.
photos.
Well, we've never played anything like that before. That was
Right.
the first time in the history of pro paintball that we've ever seen a layout quite like that with the snake Dorito, ambidextry, caddy corner style,
So if you're practicing that, there's no way in hell you didn't have some kind of inside info on that.
Yeah.
Which, whatever. I mean, they didn't win, so it doesn't really matter. But it just, the blind layout thing always leaves an area of people going, shit, did somebody else practice this ahead of time?
Yeah.
So I love the idea of it. I just don't know if you could ever actually have, in our current way we do it, a way of having a true blind layout.
Well, you show up to the field, put the blindfolds on, and then they walk you over there, you have a guide.
Another thing that we ran into is our first match, we played X Factor and they already had a game. And I think if you're the number 1 seed, I think that's a disadvantage. If it's a blind layout, I mean,
I agree. I talked to SK about that. I was talking to SK today. We got some other stuff we were dealing with, and that came up. And the fact that they got throttled, but they learned a shitload. So you guys, and it's like, man, you're the number 1 seed. How in the hell do you get penalized for being the number 1 seed? Like, that's rough. So, I mean, I get it, dude. I agree. I love the idea of it. I just don't know how you can really execute it to be fair.
Their argument was that it's more of an advantage to scout the team, but I totally disagree. I would rather play.
Agreed. I agree with you.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm sure I'm sure that would be an easy change for them, scheduling wise. Just say, okay, well, the higher seed gets the advantage of not playing a team that's already played.
I could argue it the other way too, though, and say you don't need it as much as the lower seeds.
But are we trying to build a league around making it easier?
I don't know. Are we? We keep adding bunkers.
Yeah, we could definitely talk about that too. That's it. Yeah, so, for sure. I mean, it does. Yeah, agreed.
I had this talk with somebody the other day, and they were talking about how the lower teams have caught up so close, and I'm like, man, I don't agree with that. I would say that by keep adding bunkers, we make it so that the lower teams have a better chance because we take a lot of the skill out of it by having a lot of this surprise shit that happens because you can run around and no one sees you. It's not because you're better. It's because they added 6 new bunkers again, and they're all bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's like running around in a fucking maze at this point. Of course, you're going to have a little easier time with it.
The skill still shows itself, though. When it matters.
Oh, agreed.
Once you get up close and everything, but it is definitely off the break. There's way more coverage, so they can make big moves, which is really fun to watch. And really flashy. Which I think the public is really enjoying the new style for sure.
They added 6 bunkers and removed 4. So technically they've added 2 bunkers, but I know the conversation amongst most of the pros last year was to remove bunkers, not add,
you add this,
they got rid of the tall cakes and added, they're a little bigger. They're not too much bigger, but they are bigger for sure.
Yeah.
I think I agree with you, Joey, to an extent. I think it's about 50-50 as well. I think it's a little easier with more bunkers because yes, moves are blind. It's harder to control a field. Skill is taken out of it in a way. But I do also truly believe that all the teams have gotten much better. Like
agreed. No,
teams.
I don't mean to, I'm not trying to dog anyone.
Of course.
I'm just saying like I guarantee you, if you took 6 of those bunkers off, the top 10 teams would then separate further from the bottom 10 teams. 100%. Because now it's going back to what we do better than them. We're better teams and we're better individual skilled players. So that would separate what it is. And that's not a knock against the bottom 10 because they're working their asses off and they are getting better. But so are we. Like Dynasty's gotten better. Heat's gotten better. Damage has gotten better, right? So yes, they're getting better, but so are we. So I think if you took a little bit of the look, there's 7 million bunkers on the field and I can run to the 50 and slide into your side of the field. You don't see me and I happen to shoot 2 guys. Like, yes, good job. But come on, man. Like,
totally agree with that. Yeah, totally agree.
Put them on a 2010 airball field and watch those guys just look like BCK.
Struggle. How am I going to get out of the God bunker?
Exactly. Like, oh shit, we lost 3 guys on the break getting sweet spotted. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like those were just different. I watched randomly. Someone sent me the link to the last time we won video on the Paintball Access for West Coast Riverside Open. And I'm watching it and I'm just looking at the field and I'm like, holy shit. I mean, we were dropping, it was against Impact. We were dropping 2 to 3 guys on the break every single point. Like there was just nowhere for them to go except to die. You know what I mean? It was just just a whole different era. And obviously it wasn't as much fun to watch, but.
Right. I do like the addition of the bunkers for that reason. I mean, I think the skill got to a point to where we outgrew those kind of fields. I don't know if maybe you go to larger size fields. Obviously that proposes a big issue to all of the paintball fields across the country, across the world that have their dimensions already set. So hard to do that, but adding a few bunkers makes a little bit of sense. I just, I'm like, you don't have to use all the bunkers, but I gotta say, I keep saying that. I do feel like the fields have been really fun to play.
So I told Tro the same thing. I was like, you don't have to use all the bunkers, right? And he's like, I did. And I was like, do I need to count these? And he's
left
like,
2 small cakes out.
No, he said I didn't put 2 fingers on it. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? like, how about we leave one of the big ass boxes off, or 2 of the big ass boxes off? Like, let's or stand them up so they're not so damn big. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. Like, it's fun.
I love what he's doing, man. He's super creative in their team. Actually, I was just talking to one of the other creative minds with the field layouts. And
Thomas
from Pittsburgh.
Thomas helps. Sorry, Thomas helps with Mike's league, not that
one of Tro's buddies. But just shout out to everybody who makes these things happen. It's really cool to see the progression of the game. And like we were talking about the work ethic, you can really see people caring about the process these days, which is, it's what this game needs and it's what the sport needs and the community needs. And it's good to see it thriving the way it is, in 2022 and pushing into the future.
Joey, if you had your choice for the major events, or for the NXL season, would you prefer blind layout or the traditional release of layout 2 weeks before?
Could I take a third option?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would like 1 week before.
That's what I was saying too.
1 weekend of a layout, and then you give me 1 weekend to actually train my guys. Right. I'm still going to practice. We're going to practice a shitload more than 2 weekends, but we're going to do 2 full weekends where everyone's there, where we bring another team in and we actually grind, right? Like it's different when we normally practice drills and doing stuff on a Saturday or Sunday for 3 or 4 hours compared to a real practice. So I would still do 2 serious practices where we brought teams in the whole 9, but I would prefer 1 weekend of just working with the guys. Because as a coach, man, I'll be honest, like I enjoyed this event because I actually got to coach. When you do the other events, it's more about personnel, where you're going to play them, how you're going to play them. I didn't get to actually help anyone get better at any of those events. I got to learn the layout better and help them put a game plan together and do all that shit. But I actually got to like sit down with Mike Waring and talk to him. I got to go to Brian Smith and say, you're not allowed to single shoot anything. You got to machine gun everything. You got to ramp every single time you come out. I got to go to Jason and say, you're not allowed to ramp. You can only single ball shit the whole day, right? Like help them work on their weaknesses so they can become stronger at their weakness so they can get all around better, right? Like we don't normally get an opportunity to do that because it's, again, 2 weeks of layout. You grind that layout the first weekend, a whole skid of paint. You're out there just grinding from sun up to sundown, sun up to sundown. And then you go back the next weekend, Saturday, sun up to sundown. Sunday, okay, I don't want my 40-year-old dudes to get hurt, so we cut way back and only do 25 or 30 points, right? Like I would love the opportunity to train the dudes, go out, put the work in, use a little less paint because you use less paint when you're actually doing not traditional layouts, not playing the actual layout. And that helps save funds. Mm-hmm. And then the weekend of the actual layout, go out and just grind the shit out of it.
I guess I would push back a little bit and say that you don't have to do that the first weekend. The first weekend, you could have like a Friday and Saturday where you work on that kind of stuff, but on the field, right?
You can't. You got to learn the layout.
You can at least do it on a Friday.
On a Friday, maybe, but I want the whole damn weekend. Like I'm being greedy, I know, but I want the whole weekend to help my guys get better as individual players and as a team. Like, and I don't think you can really do that on a Friday. Plus, even then, I still wouldn't because I know San Diego Aftermath's out there learning that layout. I know Dynasty's out there learning that layout. I know Heat's out there learning that layout. I got to put the same amount of time in as you guys do learning the layout, or you will have a competitive advantage at me come tournament time. So I really don't have any extra time. Plus, all my dudes are 30-plus-year-olds with families and jobs. We don't have that much extra time. Like, I get them to get the Friday off. I get them to get the other Friday off. And then the weekends, like, it's just we run into a certain point where we don't have enough time to be able to do any more than what we're currently doing when it's layout time. And if I give up any of those days on that layout, now Dynasty has an advantage on me. Now Heat has an advantage on me. Now
not always though, Joey. Not to be honest, not always. Like I've something that I've really learned in the last couple of years is, and it's partially because we've gotten older, so we don't play as much as we used to. We really have to be efficient in our practice. We'll call practice early, just to save our bodies, but it's about what you do with the time on the field and the teams that you schedule these practices with to see different looks and put yourself in certain situations, right?
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. And I'm not saying that we're going to go out there from sun up to sundown doing it. I'm being a little facetious on that. Like, we're out there, we start at 9 a.m. and it's Florida. Like, you couldn't go till 5 p.m. if you wanted to. You would physically die. So we go
every
from
time
like
I'm in Florida, I have some sort of issue.
We go from like 9 a.m. till 2 p.m. and then it's, you're literally physically done anyways. But I understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree with that. We don't go out and, we used to, back when I started Damage, when we started doing this, we were out there every single weekend. We literally shot a full skid of paint every single weekend. And we did that every single weekend. But I had 6 dudes that were under 18 that had a lot to learn, right? Yeah, so we had to grind hard.
Right.
Now, my dudes are all old. If I did that, I would have 4 guys that I could actually use at the event because they'd all be broken, right? So
Yeah.
I don't push them like we used to, but my point still is even if we're not out there doing that and we are running drills on it and doing that, it's still to learn the layout. It's not to better
Right.
the player or the teamwork. Not like this last one was.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I guess in my opinion, I think you can accomplish both. Like if you can work on those individual things without a layout, why can't you do it with a layout and also learn the layout? But I do see what you mean. There's definitely certain drills that are, I coach a few different divisional teams, and it's nice when there's no layout, because I set up just really isolated things to put them in like certain situations that I want to mimic. I put together different fundamental drills that the layout doesn't matter at all. I just need 2 bunkers that are close, whatever it might be, awkward, put people in awkward positions to make them comfortable. So I do totally see what you mean, but that's also stuff that you could argue should be done in the weeks leading up to a layout release,
And 30-year-old Joey would agree with you 100%. 40-year-old Joey with 2 kids and 2 businesses and a wife
totally
tells you, suck it. I need some
so
weekends off too.
What you're saying is we need to get paid more so that we can put more time into this, because that would be the right way to do it.
Let's put it all out there. Let's be real, 100% real with your audience.
Okay.
If paintball was like any other sport in the world, for what the 3 of us do, we would be millionaires. And damn near any other sport in the world. I'm talking, if I was a fucking bowling coach, I would be making $100,000 a year. If I was a ping pong coach, I would be making $100,000 a year minimum. We're getting guys that are some of the best in the world. Mouse got a $100,000 deal. God bless you, Mouse.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be honest. Any other sport in the world, one of the best players, if not the best player in the world, getting $100,000 is a joke. I mean, the major sports, dudes sit on the bench and never play a single point, a single game, are making more than that. So
yeah, absolutely.
I agree. If we had the money, fuck, man, I say that all the time. Like, dude, if I would have picked any other sport in the world to do what I do in, I wouldn't be doing anything else. I would just be doing that because I would be rich doing it. Like if I had the same ability to do what I've done in paintball.
You wouldn't be having as much fun though. Not as much fun, buddy.
Yeah, probably not. But that's always my argument, right? Is like if we want to get to that point, then we need to treat our sport like that, and the athletes, and you've seen it over the last 10 years, the pro players have really started to take it much more like a professional sport. All the players are athletic now, people aren't drinking and partying at events, for the most part. The players really take the game very seriously. They're watching film. They're doing all of these things that for an outsider, if they were to, see all of the preparation and everything that goes into winning one of these events, it's a lot more intriguing than, oh yeah, they just kind of play every once in a while and they're the best, but they don't really even work that hard. To me personally, I feel like it's much more compelling when you have a group of individuals that are truly elite because of all of the effort, all the sacrifice, everything that they do, and so that's always been my perspective when trying to make decisions in the sport, or make decisions. I don't get to make any of the decisions, but I can have an opinion on them at least, is let's try to be as professional as possible. Right. And whatever that looks like, I'm a fan of that. What I will say is I had, Joey, we had this debate quite a bit on PTG about the blind layouts, so I don't know if you've heard any of them, but I
heard you crying about them. I heard you being like, where, I hate them.
Yeah. So it's not even that I hate them. Like everyone at the event was asking me, oh, what do you think? I'm like, well, now that we're here, I love it. Like I can figure this field out. This is what I'm good at. I think about paintball all day long anyway. So like no issues. To me, it's the weeks leading up, and the lack of
but that's on you, bro. That's on you and your team. Because my team went out and grinded our asses off.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. And honestly, if all of the majors were like that, then I guarantee you we would have as well. It's just kind of also a weird structure that they have the minors and the majors, and like the minor doesn't really count. If you do bad, you can go and play the other one. They're going to take your best score.
And that's why
so you have a second chance.
Because I sure as hell wasn't going out of Sacramento.
Dude, I know. That's what we thought too. We're like, let's just do well in this one. And we don't have to play Sacramento. Well, it looks like we're going to play Sacramento now because we dropped the ball. And so certainly if that was just the way the league went in full force, of course we're going to have preparation and it's going to be a whole lot different. But I think it's a beautiful part of our sport. I think it's so unique that the field changes every event. And I think it's so unique that you do get the layout released. And for viewers, if the story was told kind of like mini Hard Knocks leading up to the event on all the teams that are getting ready and and how they prepare for this field and like how they are going through the process of trying to predict what is going to work and how the field is going to evolve, at the tournament and throughout Sunday. Cause we all know that everyone shows up thinking they have the field figured out, and then little things change, little things, like little tiny things that make a difference come Sunday.
Well, the same thing happens with when you have, blind layout as well.
Right. But it's definitely a sloppier version of it. There's a lot of guesswork. So you're not seeing.
I disagree. I disagree with that. So I understand what you're saying, but what you're doing right now is you're selling your point because it's your point and that's what you want to make. I could tell you for sure. I could sell you the other point and tell you that look at teams like the Hurricanes, the New Orleans Hurricanes, right? It's a brand new team. They had no business making Sunday. That's not disrespectful to them. That's a factual thing. It's not because of the layout. It's because they were more prepared and they put more time in than the other teams did. I guarantee you those guys practiced more than Heat did, more than Dynasty did, more than anyone X Factor did. I guarantee you those guys they came together as a team and put more work in before that event than you guys did. And that's why they showed.
I think you could argue two things on that, though, Joey, actually, that they probably did deserve to be there because they had a great showing in Orlando. It's not like that was a fluke for them. It's not like that was a fluke. Like that team plays with that team plays with poise. They don't play like a
check the footage. I've told it straight up. Those dudes are probably the most disciplined pro paintball players in the league, which is why they are so far ahead of everyone else that first came in. So I check the tape. I've said that before.
Agreed.
They're one of the best coached teams in paintball, but it's because they put the work in before.
Yeah. So it's not a big surprise though that they made Sunday, to me at least. But certainly what you see is and even like talking to Dalton about it, one of the conversations, one of the points, and well, let me kind of regress a little bit here because I was getting to a point that was pro blind layout. And it was about the conversation I was. So, it was about the conversation of, I really enjoy the fact that I think if you give experienced players a layout for 2 weeks, they're going to create more separation from the less experienced teams, right? That's what's going to happen. You're going to end up seeing the best of the best on that field. And I truly believe that you see more creative moves. A lot of the argument, a lot of the discussion is that when you release the layout, the field gets boring. Everyone learns how to lock down the zones, yada, yada, yada. I argue the other side that if you have a blind layout, you have players. Look at the score of this last event. It was a low scoring. I mean, maybe you could, it's kind of difficult that they also tried a totally new style of field at the same time of a blind layout. So it's hard to, that's not quite the scientific method. Usually you got to change one variable at a time. They changed two. But it was a low scoring Sunday, and that's what we've as a league.
Low scoring, bro. Like that.
No, dude. If you go back to Orlando,
besides Heat and X Factor popping horns every 3 seconds, every other team in paintball makes them slow. I mean, Impact's gonna, bro. Let's be honest. Impact and Damage in the finals is going to be super slow. Those dudes are going to do everything they can not to make a mistake. So are we. Like that's just the bottom line. We're not. None of us are going to. Quite honestly, if it would have been against Heat or Dynasty in the finals, it would have been super slow too because everyone knows. Everyone out there could shoot any of us at any point in time if you slip even a little bit, right? So I don't think you're going to see a lot of points scored on that.
Yeah, especially in a blind layout, though. And so this is my point. Like the more experienced players at the event, they're not going to guess. You're not just going to make a guess, especially on Sunday, And so if you don't have like all the situations figured out in your head, which having a layout that's released 2 weeks early, you really get to process. It's not about shooting lanes over and over and being able to get the kills on the break or gunfighting over and over and shooting targets. To me, that's not what the release is. It's okay. If it's a 3-on-2 and we're the 2 and they're here, I can get into this spot, shoot one person and then make it a 2-on-2 and come around this side. Right. So you see those really creative moves. I think you see it more when a layout's released because the really experienced players, they figure that stuff out. Where the really experienced players are less likely. Mm-hmm. I know I'm taking the long route. I just want to get to my point of being pro blind layout. I think it's less likely for those players to make these moves on a blind layout because, of course, you don't want to guess and make a mistake. But I heard a great argument, and I've asked Joey every show. I'm like, let's hear your argument for a blind layout. And honestly, I have not heard a good one. There's been like I've felt that I've had an answer. I felt that I've had an answer for it just about every time. Well, Tyler, I would love to hear it. I don't know where you've been the last 10 shows we've done, but
he just did his first blind layout.
But
he just did his first blind layout. Cut him some slack.
Shout shout out to Kalen. He's one of the goats in the Discord. He was out there with his lady, and this is coming from a non-player, so just a spectator, right? And that's truly who we want to cater to. But she made the argument. She goes, "It's so much more exciting to me knowing that all of you are trying to figure this field out right here in front of my eyes." And I was like, "Damn, that's actually a really good point." That's a good point. To me, that's a good point. If it makes it more exciting for the viewership because of that, that says a lot to me, and I almost sacrifice like how I feel about the playing of it. If that's how an outsider that doesn't have any skin in the game as a player, feels about it.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I make the argument.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say that, from an outside perspective or from a, non-subjective place, just that the pros have been pro for too long. So, it's like they know too much. How can we
how can we dumb it down?
The pros that are the best, they've been pro for so long, they know too much, and it was a really exciting event. I think that there's a great way to marry it all. I think that we're all hitting on such valuable points from so many different sides, and we're making a lot of headway on the game, which is what you want to see, right?
Yeah. I would say from an outsider standpoint, from not what I want, but from out, because I that honestly, like being a coach in a paintball team or a manager or anyone who runs a paintball team, like if you're doing it right, you're not doing it because it's what you want or what you want to see. You're actually trying to see every side of everything.
Yeah.
And that's how you actually get good at doing this, right? So as somebody who wants to see paintball grow as well, I honestly feel like for what we're doing on the pro side, it's different than what we should be doing for everyone else. I feel
Absolutely.
The blind layout for everyone else is huge. Even for some of the pros right now, because we're not getting the money. The sponsorships are all less than they've been before. And I know that shouldn't be an argument, but it is an actual factual argument right now. Besides the top 8 teams, 9 teams, maybe, everybody else has serious funding issues at some point in time. And 10% increase on cost of goods, gas prices going through the roof, plane tickets for Philly are damn near $1,000. Like, if we don't figure a way out to make paintball more affordable, you are going to see a drastic fall on the people under us first, right? That's where it's going to start, and it's going to trickle its way up. I mean, we've seen pro teams go under because they don't have the funding anymore. I think doing the blind layout or doing the one weekend of the layout will save a shit ton of money in just paint consumption alone. We used 60 cases of paint in practice before this event for both weekends. Like, we didn't use any, and it wasn't because I was like, oh, let's use less paint. We went out and did everything we normally would do. We just used a lot less paint because I don't need to shoot 12,000 rounds at this damn Dorito to see where the exact spot I need to shoot to find the bounce shot is.
Yeah, real quick, Joey, for reference for the listeners, 60 cases over 2 weeks is crazy low. Typically on a, if there's a layout, it's like 80 cases a weekend. That's kind of, I don't know if that's where you guys are at. It's about where we're at usually, for 3 days. So yeah, that's a huge save.
Right. So, and we're not a financially strapped team. Like we have funding, right? We're okay. But there are some of these other teams out there that I promise you don't have that kind of funding. And the blind layout could literally continue the lifespan of these teams longer just on the money alone. And then the lower divisional teams, same thing. That's my argument for that, for an outsider looking at the sport as a whole, not somebody who doesn't know, but somebody who has some knowledge about it and sees the cost. I mean, it is expensive. I was talking to somebody about a D2 team, and they were talking about it was like $1,500 a head currently for them to go play a D2 event. Travel, paint, the whole nine. That's just to play the event. That doesn't count the practices up to the event. These dudes are dropping damn near $2,000 for an event with practices and everything. Yo, that's good, but we're limiting our audience so much. We're limiting our participation by the people who can afford it, not the people who necessarily want to do it, right? So I agree, but the only way this is growing is if we grow it as a whole from bottom to top. And I honestly believe that, stupid as it sounds, I think the blind layout would increase paintball as a whole.
Yeah, and dude, I'm still going to play as much paintball. Like, me personally, I'm going to, like, every weekend. Blind layout, no layout, whatever layout. I don't care about the layout. I'm going to play a ton of paintball. And, yeah, I'm going to shoot the bounce shots and find those bounce shots. But honestly, I mean, you're going to shoot them and find them, but that doesn't really drain you out too much. It's, it's a part of the game that we have to respect. But it's like, being in the process and playing a lot of paintball, you're still going to be, a part of that whole construct.
I've been a huge fan of having different rules for the divisional players for a long time. That's how almost every other sport is. You know, all the other divisions aren't playing the same way the pros are playing. They're not playing by the same rules, by the same size field, same this, same that. It does change. So there's no reason that it can't in our sport as well. There's no reason. I agree. I think if blind layouts, the argument is for field owners. You know, the weeks leading up to an event are some of the best times for field owners. You know, they know they can they're going to have a lot of teams that are there practicing, but Hinman has actually made some great points about that, and it's releasing kind of like mock layouts, for the event. You build the culture in your area, and teams will come still. Teams are still going to come practice.
Listen, man, I'm old school, right? You guys were still fucking peeing and pooping in your pants when I started doing this, and we didn't have any layouts. We just went out and played paintball every fucking weekend.
Yeah.
All right, let's fact check this. Let's fact check this. When did you start playing paintball?
I started this when I was 6 years old. I'm
6 years old.
Do the math.
6.
How
old are you?
My family's 43.
Okay.
My parents have owned stores and fields my whole life. You guys had chores of going to mow the yard and take the trash out. Mine was running the rec ball on Saturday and Sunday. You know what I mean? I lived at a paintball field.
6 years old. Just walk me through this, please.
Nail spot 007, 10 rounds.
Damn.
Before there was pumps, we had little Band-Aids on our fingers because you had to pull the thing back and drop it down. It was
you started with a slingshot.
$1.50 for 10 rounds.
Shit,
damn,
dude.
Yeah,
that's
you guys
crazy,
have no
man.
idea how far this shit's come in such a short. I mean, it's a short period of time, relatively speaking.
Yeah,
but like
it is, man. Yeah, it's a short
but
period
even
of
back
time.
then, I mean, we would use a case of paint would last you fucking damn near a month because you just didn't shoot that much paint. But we would go out and we would still play every single weekend, right? Like if you're into it, you're into it. If you, it's no different than any other thing. If you're playing basketball and you like it, you're going to play basketball every night. If you like paintball and it's a weekend-based game, weekend-based hobby, you're going to go do it every single weekend. So blind layout,
the pricing was relative. It was like you would pay $2,000 for a case back when you were 6, right?
Not quite that much, but yeah.
No, but you know what I'm saying. It was like you would only shoot this much, but it would cost
like $200. But yeah, it would last you damn near a month. But yeah, so I mean, and I've been through all the different phases of coming up where the pump guns were it, and then auto triggers came out, and then the SMG 60s and all that other shit. Like I literally have seen the whole entire thing grow. I've been through every tournament circuit that was ever around. I've either played in, participated in, or been a part of in some aspect. So I've seen this cycle and I've seen what we're going through, and this is a different cycle for sure. This is with social media, with the way we're able to do all this stuff, we are actually able to get in front of people that we could have never gotten in front of before, and it's huge. So I think we have the opportunity, but we just got to be smart about how we do it. It can't be just about us as pros. Like that's the truth. Like
totally,
you couldn't go out and play basketball in your backyard. Nobody 100%. Would give a shit about the NBA, right?
Yep.
The reason why soccer is the biggest sport in the world is because it takes one little silly ball and 18 guys can go play it and have a great fucking time.
You could take 2 plastic cups and set up a goal.
Right. That's why that's so big, right? You can do milk crates for basketball hoops. Like that's why because it's a low entry, low cost. We've taken our sport and made it so it's not like you're bougie if you're playing paintball.
What's the argument for golf is pretty accessible, but what about like snowboarding? Snowboarding is a hard thing. It's blowing
and it's
up,
crazy
though.
expensive, and it's only big because it's easy to pay attention to and watch, and that's it. And chicks do it. That's another big thing. Like,
do it.
No,
we have chicks.
We just now got chicks. We just got
hell yeah, we do.
But that's a big part of it. Like so, when I took my little break from Damage, when things happened with the way they happened there, and I had to take a little time off because money's important to me and my family, whatever. I started a business in CrossFit, doing the fitness stuff, doing basically what we do at Social, where we go and we film, we make custom products, the whole nine. CrossFit didn't blow up because there's a bunch of strong dudes out there. Nobody really gives a shit about the strong dudes. They care about the top 2 or 3. CrossFit blew up because of all the hot chicks. Don't get it twisted. Like that's why. I mean, it got big on TV. That's why. I mean, it's a factual thing, like beach volleyball. How many people really go and watch dudes play beach volleyball? It's if there wasn't chicks doing it, it would not be as popular, right? And that's just the truth.
I don't know. I don't have the stats on that, but I will tell you that gel strike is going to take us to the moon, baby, because you can gel strike anywhere.
I'm all about that stuff. Like we wholesale stuff out of Social, and every field I talk to, I'm like, if you don't have the jelly ball stuff yet, you are literally missing out. Like you
Yeah.
can get
Huge.
legally with insurance, you can get down to like 6 years old with this. I have them for my whole family. We were
Yeah.
out. So we do camping stuff, whatever. We were out with my wife's mom and dad, my kids, her and I, and their grandma, her mom, was out there playing with my kids, blasting
There
them,
we
getting
go.
blasted by them. Like she's like 75 years old, right? Like just having a good old time, just mowing them down, and they were mowing her down. Like, you know what I mean? You can't do that with paintball. Like, it's just
No.
not going to happen, right? So
Yeah,
is
that's
the
another-
perfect entry.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Because that is another big hurdle is, all other sports, football, basketball, soccer, you can give a kid a one of those balls at 2 years old, and
Yeah.
they start becoming accustomed with it. They start, having an affection for that game and for that activity. Paintball does not have that. You can't play until you're 9, 10, 11 years old. And so, yeah, the gel strike stuff is huge. I think it's really important.
Yep, I
That's
agree. I agree with that
monumental.
100%. I just think like right now as a whole, like we're in a really good spot, and I agree.
Yeah.
But we're also walking a little bit of a wire, right? Like we're going up the hill real nice, and everything's looking really pretty up here. But man, one big wind push, and we're going right back down that hill real fucking fast. So we just got to be super smart on how we maneuver from here, in my opinion.
What do you think that win push would be?
If the economy takes a shit,
Okay.
paintball is expensive.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's a
And
luxury kind of sport.
We just
in
went
a way,
over it. I mean,
Yeah.
D2 guys are dropping 2 G's to go play an NXL event.
Right.
Gas prices keep going up. Like, bro, it went from costing me $40, $50 to fill my tank to $100 now. Like it's damn near doubled at this point. Like that's real.
That's a tough one, and that's a whole nother conversation because there's only so much you could do to lower the cost of paintball. I think no matter what you do, blind layout or not, it's an expensive sport. It's
right, but if we get in front of it now, and it gets a little bit cheaper, a little more affordable. Like, so think of yourself as you guys are reasonable adults. Take your mindset out of being a professional paintball player and not ever having to pay for any of this shit. Imagine it cost you $60 a case, $50 a case to play paintball right now, right? Now your gas price is just doubled and you're at $100. That's a case of paint. So now currently it's taking you 5 cases to practice a layout. If it went down to blind layout, it's costing you 2.5 cases, right? So you're able to actually justify, okay, it's costing me half as much money. Sure, I'm spending more money on other stuff, but I can still afford this. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of my mindset on it, where I'm like, the blind layout makes a lot of damn sense for a lot of damn people.
I'm all in on the blind layout idea for divisional players. I truly, I've not ever said anything differently. Again, my only argument is for the pros. I want to see the best of the best, the most preparation, the most attention to detail. I want to see who shows up at that event, and you can see who put in the most hours from start to finish. Divisionally,
I agree to a certain extent on that too. But even that on the pro side, I mean, shit, bro, you guys know this. All it takes is for you to get one not get the good lot of paint, or to have your paint, paint manufacturer being a little different, and you don't win because of that. So
those are variables that aren't in our control, though, right?
So
the ones that are in our control,
that could easily be in our control. If
the
the
paint, how
NXL
so?
simply said, here's what we're going to do. You're going to back this paint truck up right here. Dynasty and Damage are playing right now. Pull it off of that skid. You guys are shooting the same damn paint.
Yeah.
All right. Next to that is heating these guys. There's not enough to get through that. Switch them over to that skid.
I go back and
NASCAR does it with tires.
Yeah, totally. I go back and forth on that, right? Because again, I do think your sponsor should be rewarded. I was going to bring up different racing sports, but it's such a factor in paintball, like such a factor, huge. And so
some would say an X factor. Yeah.
It's a huge X factor. But even that, Joey's tough. Like, yeah, it would have to be the same exact lot number. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you just,
so I'm saying the same exact skid.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, totally.
You and I roll up to the truck. There's 120 cases on there. I say, give me 20. You take 20.
Yeah.
We go out and we play paintball because that's what you need.
We do that in practice. You know, if we're playing a team and their paint's not good, we're going to split paint because it's not 100%. Helping us for you to have bad paint 100%. And us to have good paint.
Right.
You know, and then every so often you get the team where they don't do that and you have really bad paint and they pull out their 5-star, whatever it is. And you're like, okay, guys, cool. You guys are getting a really good look out here.
I'll tell you,
you're the best practice team in the world.
Yeah.
It really helps you in the tournament though, huh? When you got the good paint and the other one doesn't, man, that's great stuff.
That's my point.
It's a big advantage.
And the fucked up part is the three of us are probably three of the people that have the least amount of room to bitch about this because
of course,
mean, in the pecking orders, like we're towards the top of them, right? So I'm not even arguing in my favor right now. Like I just think
totally, this
in
hurts
general,
us.
if you want to truly see who the best, it does. If you truly want to see who the best teams are, That's a fucking huge, huge thing that makes a huge difference. Like all
Yeah.
it takes is for HK to show up with a ball that's made for 80 degrees and a damn cold snap comes through at 60, and GI's got two kinds of formulas.
Right.
Like HK may have had the best paint for 80 degrees, but when it snaps down to 60 degrees, that paint's not so
Right.
good anymore. Right.
Totally.
Like, but that's
That
not
happened in
something they can
Orlando,
really control.
you know?
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been on both sides of the coin. Obviously,
Same.
because of the situation we're in, we're able to manipulate the situation to get us the best possible outcome. But other teams can't. So if you really want to have the best team winning, yeah, I agree. Let's go 2-week layout. Let's give us all the same paint. I mean, at some point, we might even have to all shoot the same guns.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I guess, well, that's what you have the 10 balls per second for. You just regulate them to the same kind of things. I don't know about shooting the same guns.
Yeah.
They don't do that in, cars. But
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
No,
No, all the
I hear you,
different
though.
cars. We'll kick it back to racing.
I've been a big fan of that for a long time of like, hey, this event is the HK Open. It's all HK. This event is the GI. This event is whatever.
So the argument to that I've heard, and it's accurate, is you really can't do that because the first event, second event, third event, well, not even that, just the first 3 events are meh. And then the fourth event is the worst, and then World Cup's the biggest.
World Cup.
Right?
Exactly.
So who gets World Cup? Right?
HK, baby.
Which is why I'm saying, well, it's easy, right? You literally just take a damn truck, you put a skid of HK on there, skid of GI on there, skid of Pro Shot on there. You just go all the way back with that. And then we just grab whatever the fuck's at the front of the truck, and that's what we use.
Totally.
If it sucks, it sucks for both of us. Sucks to be
I
us.
would not disagree with that at all. And again, yeah, it's not in our favor, but that would you're going to see who's the best team, and it's not to chance. Although I do also, there's an art to, and other teams that do have the ability to do this, I know they don't do it. You do have the ability to go and put the time in and really check and test paint. Mm-hmm. And yes, the top tier teams, when it comes down to it, if there's only X amount left, they're getting that right. paint. But teams still aren't, giving themselves that advantage by going
a lot
and
of
testing.
Teams, so this is another thing too. A lot of teams have budgets on their paint where like literally they get 60 or 80 cases, even the pro teams, 60 or 80 cases an event. So they're going to go spend 15 or 20 cases testing paint to find the best possible paint. That comes out of
you don't
need
budget. 15, 20 cases. You're crazy. Every time we test paint, it's 4 cases tops. There's like 4 different lots. That's all you're testing.
Level. No, you're on a different level than other people. Not everyone gets a bag. A lot of the companies now make you take a full case of paint.
No, I know, but it's 4 cases. 4 cases.
It's not. GI has way more than 4 lots on their trucks. HK has way more than 4 lots on those trucks. I mean, don't get me wrong. After heat locks theirs down and fucking impact locks theirs down, then there's not so many you have to check. Or when X Factor, Dynasty, and Damage lock they're down, there's less to check. But I'm telling you, like, even at that, even at 4 cases, if you have a 60 case limit, now you don't have enough paint to get through the event. I mean, I'm telling you,
you can still use that paint. You can still use that paint just because you pulled it out of the truck and open a bag to shoot a hopper. You can still
unless
use
it's hard, and then you don't.
Yeah, exactly. We're not going to use this one. But come on now, Joey. Now we're talking about $35, $40 at the event. Come on now.
Times 20 or 40.
Testing paint. It's like one of the most important things to do. One of the most important things to do.
This is why we need to do a scramble. We need to put you on a poor team so you understand what it was like because you didn't live in that bougie life too long. You live in that bougie life. You don't know what it's like to be poor anymore.
Yeah, I've been fortunate for pretty much my whole career. Yeah. I can't lie. Yeah.
But we're all fortunate to be able to play this game. Honestly.
Yeah, divisional teams that I coach, we go to local regional events, and it's hilarious actually because there's an event out at shout out to Tom from Matt's Outback. They do they have an awesome league called the OPS out there, and they usually have 2 paints. They have like a mid tier and a top tier, let's call it. And there's times where the top tier is not the paint for sure, but everyone pays the extra $5-10 a case for it because they think it is. Our team's like one of the only teams that actually test it, and I'm like, whoa, this stuff shoots way straighter. It's just as brittle. It might not break quite as well, but this is the better ball for sure. We want to shoot this,
Apparently this is something you need to add to your clinics. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. You need to add testing paint to your clinics because apparently it's something a lot of teams are missing.
We certainly
it's a part
do.
of the curriculum, actually.
Yeah,
a little bit.
100%. Paint is, we actually also shout out for all the listeners, if you guys are in the Northeast area, Nick Laval is going to be at Precision Paintball this weekend doing the second class of the Paintball University thing that we've been doing. But at the first one, he had a whole hour course just on paint, and picking paint and sizing it with your barrel and testing it. And the whole idea behind it is we're not moving through things too quickly. We're spending like a full day on pretty much one topic, and it's a 6-week course essentially. But paint is a big part of it. It's a huge part of the game. And then paint management, keeping it in coolers, not letting it sit in your pods. Like,
don't put it
dude,
on the
this
ground.
stuff is
If it's 40 degrees outside, don't put the box on the ground, because all it's going to do is freeze your fucking paint and turn to shit. I mean, So we run a tournament series out here, the SPL Social Paintball League, and beginning of the year in Florida, it's chilly, right? Like, we still have some cold days. Like, I mean, cold for us, right? 40, 50s, but these guys buy like 10 cases of paint and then set them down on the ground, like 5 across the bottom. You're just like, dude, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Like, you're literally soaking the cold earth up into your paint. Like, this is gonna be like, this bottom case is gonna be trash compared to the rest of this paint. Like, I get it. Like, there's definitely a lack of education on a lot of that stuff, and I mean, it's part of the price of getting there, right? That's part of the different Division 5 and Division 2 and so on and so forth.
I mean,
there's a science to it.
The paint management has been a huge part of our little 3 event run. Honestly, I mean, all of our matches were like 1-point games. We haven't been blowing any teams out of the water. It's like,
I know.
So razor's edge. I mean, we easily could have lost all 3 of those tournaments. What's that?
Oh, I know. You beat us, and the only team that beat us on Sunday on those events is you by 1 point.
Yeah,
trust me, I know. Like, World Cup, you beat us by 1 point. The Sunshine Series, you beat us by 1 point. Like, that was our joke.
The games with you guys are always fucking close. You guys make it so hard to score points. We're going to dive back in and talk about the Lone Star Open too in a bit. Yeah. I think you guys did such a good job of, you would get the lead and then make it impossible for teams to come back. That is old school Damage. That's your guys' identity. I know what you've been pushing with the team, and you guys executed it really damn well. Obviously, you guys are the winners, and again, big congrats. But my point about the paint and about all these little details is, like, if one little thing doesn't go your way, this whole run is not possible. The run that we had been on, it just doesn't happen. To win a tournament itself, just one, things have to go your way. You got to get the calls. Your paint has to be good. You have to make the right moves. Like, you got to get a bounce in the finals in an important moment, where the paint bounces off you. Like, so many things have to go your way. Paint is something that, for the most part, can be at least paint management is in your control. Teams, I see pro teams do it. They have their pods, like we said, either on the floor in the freezing cold or out in the sun, or they load up an hour before the match and it's humid out, and it's like, what are you doing? It's just collecting moisture in the outside elements. And it's like one of the first things that we do when Tyler and myself work with a new team is like, hey, we're going to learn about paint management first right now. This is so important.
I constantly, like, even to this point with our guys, like, as experienced they are and as smart as they are, like, I'm like, this last event, what are you doing? Get out of the sun. You got a pack full of paint. Back your stupid ass up. Look, you're not up. Your line's up next. Don't put a pod in your pack until you're ready to go. Right? Like, your pods are empty. Your hopper, bro. What do you have paint in your hopper for? Dump that shit out and put fresh paint in. Right? Like, so I completely and totally agree, and I harp on my guys. And going back to what you said about how razor thin it is, I tell my guys constantly, like, this is a game of percentages. Right? If you're at 90%, you're not winning the tournament. That 10% is the difference between not making the next round or winning that point. Like, literally, and if we each, that's my new motto, is like 1% better. After every single time we play, we need to be 1% better. The next match, 1% better. The next point, 1% better. And if we do that, by the end of it, we will be 100% and we will win. Right? So it's always, and it's that little shit, right? Like, the before you get on the field stuff, like Friday when you're flying, bro, drink enough water. Nobody wants to get up and piss on an airplane. I get that. But you better be pissing on the airplane, because if you got a 2-hour flight and you haven't had to piss one time on a 2-hour flight, you are not hydrated enough. You know what I mean?
Love that, Joey. Yeah,
just little shit like that. And I'm like, like, think of it, 10%. If that's 0.5% for everybody on this team better at that event, we're showing up at a 92 instead of a 90. Right. And we'll get that other 8% as we go. Right. Yeah. But that little bit of that shit, man, that's the difference. 1 point. We lost literally every time we made Sunday. We've lost that game by 1 point, whether it's in the quarterfinals, semifinals. It's always 1 point. 1 point to Impact. They go on to win the tournament. 1 point to U.S. Cup. You guys go on to win the tournament. The year before that, 1 point to the Russians. They go on and play for second place. So they didn't win. And then you guys again, 1 point. And you guys went on to win the tournament. So it's like we're losing by one. Even this last event, we lost to Infamous by 1 point in overtime. We lost to you guys by 1 point.
1 point.
Like, it's literally like we only.
You
lose
guys
by
knew
one
the situation for us too.
100%.
Yeah,
100% we knew the situation.
I know. That's why, like, early in the match when it was going back and forth, it's like, these mother effers, dude. They know that we have to win by 4 to make it in.
Yeah, I'm good at math.
I saw, like, it was that one long 2-on-2. It was still fairly early in the match, and I saw how you guys were playing it. I was like, these sons of guns. Sons of bitches.
I can't believe SK didn't blow that horn on that 2-on-2. I was like, I'm gonna let this shit tick.
We won
Tick
it though,
all down,
so
boys.
we won it. So thank God he didn't. We needed the point, but man,
we went back and got the next one after that though.
Yeah.
So that was my mindset on that was
PTG.
we know what we need to do to get in, and I didn't. If we went in, you didn't, so that's all that mattered, right? Totally. So we just wanted to keep it close enough and not show too much because I know Infamous is watching us and the other top 4 teams are, because we couldn't jump Infamous no matter what because they beat us in the head-to-head. So it was just keep it close.
Okay, so you let us win is what you're saying, but just not by a lot.
Absolutely not. We absolutely did not want you to win. But
yeah,
I didn't really care so much about winning or losing that, just not losing by 4.
Yeah, right. Just make it in. You just got to make it in. Yeah, totally, 100%.
Joey,
you guys played that field.
Sorry, go ahead, Marsh.
I was just going to say, you guys played that field so well. And again, it was like the key to me, I mean, even against Infamous on Sunday, you know, you go up 3-0. They did bring it back, but you guys were still in control that whole match, you know, like you guys would get the early lead, and then now the pace is yours, you know, and that is a sign of extreme discipline. And so the fact that you were playing all 10 of your guys, some of which don't have that experience, makes it even more impressive in my eyes, you know, because it's a really hard thing for the newer players to understand how to flip the switch from we're trying to score this point to, you're still trying to score the point, but the flow's different. Like another team, if you don't make a mistake, they have got to make the move. They have got to hit the buzzer on your end of the field because they're down points. So it gives you a little bit of a predictive advantage. You kind of know what their flow is going to be or try to be at some point, you know?
Yep. And having 7,000 bunkers on the field, one thing that's changed is that it doesn't matter where you go, we can hide from you. Like, and it's not like the plan, but literally, like, I mean, shit, the final point Axel's in our D2. Yep. And he can't shoot anyone because we can still hide because there's so many damn bunkers out there, which is something that I don't like about off the subject a little bit, just regress a little bit. But with all those extra bunkers out there used to be a spot on the field on every layout that was like the victory win spot. You go there, you're guaranteed a kill or two. Yeah. None of that shit exists anymore. Literally, the scary spots, as soon as we find them, I go, cool, can we live from them? All right, play like there's somebody there the whole time. If you play like he's there the whole time, he'll never shoot you. Right. It's just that easy.
Yeah.
That is such a big bit of information for the listeners out there. That piece is huge because that is exactly how the top pros play paintball right there. Mm-hmm. Find that spot, the pay spot, the bank where you go and get paid out. When you get to that spot, you get all the eliminations. Find that spot, figure out, there's typically a couple of them, and play like that's hot religiously. Yeah.
And then you figure out how to get in there and figure out how to keep the other team out.
That's right.
Yeah, it's like something we always talk about. If you're a Dorito player, you better never get shot by the snake. If you're a snake player, you better never get shot by the Dorito side. Facts. Like you just if you're one of those players, you better never get shot by the center guy making a move. Right. Like he's always there. Find that center player. And if you're playing so big that you get shot across him.
If you don't know where he's at, he's probably in the center, especially on these current layouts. There. Like if you're not sure where he's at, he's somewhere in that center. So you got to check off each one of those before you decide to do anything.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
Ask good questions. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So Joey, let's hop in a little bit again, with heading into this Dallas event. I mean, man, you guys have been 2013 was the last time you guys won an event. It's a long time for Damage. Damage came onto the scene hot early. A young team out of Florida that came in and you guys won world championships. You guys won back-to-back events at one point. You were truly at the top of the game, and then had a long drought where many would argue you guys should have won plenty of events in that span, especially you guys bring Keith back in 2019. Every event I've had you guys, I'm like, Damage could win this one. Like at one point, it's going to finally click again. They have all the talent. They have the coaching. They have the organization. They have the structure. So why haven't they won yet in a way? So
I can break it down easy for you. So 2013 was the last year that we won an event. It was also the last year that I was a part of the team until late 2018. So 2013, the last event we won. After that, I was gone for about 5 years. What ended up happening was the funding changed. And when that happened, I got a wife, I got kids, I got businesses. I love paintball and I would love to do it for free, but I can't. So when the money got tight, I was just like, I can't do this. So I took a little break from it. And, it was hard, man. Like, I built that team. Like, everyone on that team that was there, that when we won all those tournaments, I brought every single one of those players in. I spent countless hours out there on the field with those guys, grinding with them, working with them, getting them where they were. So, I mean, it was hard, but at the end of the day, man, I got to do what's right for the family. And that at the time was what was right with the family. So, I took my little break from that. They did their thing. I told Jason when he said he was going to do it all, I'm like, bro, I'm telling you, like, it's going to be hard. Like, being a player, a coach, and the guy who has to make all the financial decisions on that, you're in for a rough one. But I wish you the best. Anything I can do to help, I will. But I just can't spend that much time doing this anymore. He did a great job for what he had, for the budget he was running. He put together a team the year after I left where I think they took a second somewhere, third, maybe a fourth. They were second in the series that year. So they had a really good year that following year after. And then after that, I got a little harder, and a little harder. They were able to get Keith back, which was great. I did Mutiny the year before that. So shout out to Tommy O'Donnell and Jason McDonald, Andy Horvath and the crew, right? Like,
hell yeah.
You guys started seeing me pop back up because I was going out to California every event, which, that's a flight right there, son. That red eye home, that'll burn you out.
Yes, sir.
But,
yes, sir.
So I went out there with them, did that, had a really good season. I was talking to Chad. I saw him more, and he's like, "Hey, man, what would it take?" And I'm like, "Bro, I'm not leaving these guys. Like, as long as they're good and as long as the funding's there, I'm going to stick it out with them just because we were building something. Like, we had a really good year. Went to Vegas. Tommy ran into some issues, and the guys started having their issues, whatever. Ended up doing Vegas with them and then taking Texas off. Thank God, because it was a shit show that year. That was the year of the massive rain.
Oh yeah, damn,
so
that was crazy.
I came back for I think it was Philly where we played on that soccer field. The one that we ruined and we're not allowed to go back to.
Yeah.
Really nice. Yeah. So I came back for that, and Damage had not made Sunday the two previous events. When I came back, I just completely and totally flipped it all on their heads. I told Jason when I came back that I talked to CJ and Jason, said if I come back, I get complete control of the roster on the field, who plays, when they play, how they play. If guys don't put the work in off the field, then they're not going to play. I don't give a shit if it's you, your brother, Keith. I don't care. Like, I only care about winning. And that's kind of the mentality you have to have if you're actually going to win in paintball. Like, you can't have feelings for friends. Like, it's important, right? You want to be friends with everyone, but at the end of the day, my reputation and my ability to make a winning team meant more to me at that time than that team did, because it was all new to me again, right? So you got to come in there and kind of be a little bit of a dick. So, I called Jason and Jake out for being fatties and told them they need to get in shape. I told Keith that, he can't play like he's the only guy out there. He's got to play with the team, so on and so forth. And when you start, and Tim was on the team at the time, I was calling him out for some of his shit. Like, you got to hold these guys super accountable. And they hadn't had anyone hold them accountable since I left. As much as Jason tried to, he's also a teammate, right? If you two are on the same team, you can have a conversation with each other, but there ain't no way in fuck Marcelo's going to tell Tyler what to do, and Tyler's going to tell Marcelo what to do. Right? Somebody has to be someone there to tell you what to do. So that's where I come in. Like, I'm good at being that guy. Like, I'm good being the guy that you're going to hate at times, but you understand.
You're good at it, Joey. You are good. You're a good coach. And that's why you won the pro coach of the event, bro. Lone Star Open 2022, last tournament.
So we got everything together, got him back out there, got him getting back into shape, made him grind. I made him grind harder than they wanted to. Then, COVID happened. Like, we had that event in Vegas and right before COVID. And honestly, if COVID didn't happen, we would have won an event that year. We had a roster that would have won. With Tim and everyone else that was out there, fuck, bro, we got screwed against the Russians. You can go back and watch the video that I've posted a million times of him getting shot in his fucking face by Tim and then shooting Tim. And they called a major, and then they overturned the major. And then I showed them the film, and they were like, "Oh no, that's not our approved video stuff." I'm like, if you fuck me on this, I'm releasing this, and everyone's going to see you fucked me on this. So they made me release it. Everyone saw that we got fucked on that. But it is what it is. Like, we were in the finals after that match, right? We beat the Russians. We're in against the Ironmen. Not to say we would have beat them, but I think we would have beat them. We were playing really good. So we were stoked about that year. We were like, fuck yeah. And then COVID. And then, we lost him. God rest his soul. I mean, that was fucking huge. it impacted us a lot. And, it also, the light side of that, it also made the guys want it more and focus more and want to do it for their brother, right? Like it brought us closer. If it could bring you anything like that can do anything, it could bring you closer, which was huge. So everyone that was on the team, it became more, right? Like it wasn't just about, we all call each other brothers, but at the end of the day, it's a team, right? You were on Infamous at one point. You were with us at one point. As much as we're brothers, it's different when you're on the team, when you're in there, you're sweating. But as soon as you leave, that new team's your brothers now, right? Like it's just part of it. You're still friends with everyone, but it's different. It's just a different mindset. So the dudes got real close from that. We made some moves the following year, brought in a couple guys, LJ Woodley on the field, one of the best paintball players ever. He just didn't fit with us, right? The dude's, he's a circle and we're a bunch of squares, and it just didn't work. So I dragged that longer than I should have. Probably should have nipped that sooner, but I was trying. I've never not had a player work out. And all the time I've done this, I've been able to fix all this shit. I couldn't fix it. So I was like, all right, whatever. So we made our move on that. We had a decent year. We missed every time we didn't win. It was by 1 point in the quarterfinals or semifinals, right? We had a couple bad events where we fucked up on how we were playing it. Guys weren't listening, guys showing up late, real life shit got in the way. Came into this year with a whole different mindset, brought Mike Waring back, had Jared on the radar for a long time. He's a great teammate. Figured, fuck it, let's do it. Brought him in. He's super fast. I would arguably say from top to bottom, I probably have the fastest team in paintball at this point. I got 3 guys that aren't fast in Brian, Jason, and Jake, and they're still pretty fast. But my other guys are all, I would put them top tier speed guys. So we just have a different mindset this year where it's all about the team working as a group. First event we went out and tried to do what we were doing in the past, which is playing our best guys. Once you get to the quarterfinals now, though, and they switch it to the straight X ball, that's horrible. You just can't do it. You have to play more of your roster. So coming into this event, I said, fuck it, just play everyone. The guys are all playing good. I cut the lines up. I made one line of, I like to call it the emotionally stable line with Jason, Chad, Jarrett, Brian Smith, and Mike Waring, right? Incredibly emotionally stable guys, can have a conversation, no motherfucking going on. And then I had my not emotionally stable line that consisted of Keith, Jacob, Brad, Chris Horn, who actually is very emotionally stable, and then going brain dead here, Holiday. Right, Holiday's pretty stable too.
I just like that your guys are having fun with it, man. That's awesome.
It sounds like what Skinny's doing. We have a dum dum line that Skinny made. So we've got like the smart line and the dum dum line.
Well, my line's not dumb. My line is they're the kind of guys where if they get hot, they're going to be the best line 100% of the time.
Same with ours. And they're not dumb. It's the Blake is the captain of the dum dum line. He's one of the smartest paintball players, one of the best out there. Any given day, Blake, in my opinion, is the best person at the event. But he's the captain of the dum dum line. I mean, dude axed his thumb off.
Call it the thumb line.
Dum dum line. Skinny loves that. He loves that whole setup there. But
yeah, I try to
have fun
from you guys this off season.
I know this. Yes, aware of this.
Really glad that I try and take you 2 every year, which I tell everyone. I definitely would pick. I told Tyler this off thing without a shadow of a doubt. If you guys ever get sick of your teams, make sure you give me a call. I probably ain't got Sarge money or Bart money, but I got OK money, and we have fun. So
it's very flattering.
I remember playing for Tampa, and that was back in the heyday when Dave Baines was playing paintball, and him and I were making a long journey over there. Definitely a fun group of guys, and so much love for paintball and the culture in Florida. So we love what you guys are doing out there.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And it was, I've also told you this in the past. I mean, you guys are one of the organizations that I've always admired. Definitely get along with a lot of the guys. I've got friends on your guys' team. And, it's like I said, it's a flattering thing. And I think anybody that goes to your guys' team is in a good spot,
When did you start with Tampa?
Like
when was
you started Tampa?
Yeah, when Tampa started.
What year was it?
We won our first event shit, he just posted that shit. Gary Bone did it. It was like, I think, I don't remember.
It was it pre 2010?
We beat Marcelo in Aftermath in the finals of Chicago. I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
No.
You weren't with Aftermath when they made the finals when they came back up?
No, not in 2010. I was playing with Infamous that year.
Oh, that's right. We beat you guys in another event.
Aftermath beat you guys in Chicago 2010.
Absolutely not. We won.
Sorry, not Aftermath.
Because we won that
Infamous.
event.
So no, hold on. Infamous. We on Infamous beat you guys in Chicago 2010.
Well, then it was 2009, maybe. I don't know.
I think so.
Hold on. Let's. Okay, so 2009 Chicago Aftermath. We lost to Russian Legion in the finals.
Out here
get your phone out. Fact check. So 2009, I was on Aftermath. We lost. Tyler was too. We lost to the Russian Legion in Chicago, and then 2010, I was on Infamous, and we beat Damage in the finals.
So this is a bad time for me to look something up because we just won an event. You guys know how that looks on your phone.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna find this.
No worries at all.
Okay, Joey, you guys got you went far in 2010. You got second place to us in 2010.
All right, so 2009 we won then. Whatever it was.
Not Chicago. Not Chicago.
One of the events. Our very first win was at Chicago. Maybe it was 2008 then. All I know is we were 3 years of. First year I came in, they were D2, right? They were Tampa Bay. Originally, they were Demolition. They got looped up in the pooping in a hallway incidents. When I came in, I was like, yo, I'm not trying to get sponsorships on that shit. Like, we got to change the name. He said, how about Damage? I said, let's go. So we did the Damage thing, and he asked me, he's like, what would it take to have a winning pro team? And I said, to have a winning pro team, you are going to have to give me an unlimited fund. And that's it. If you give me money, I will make you a winning pro team in 2 years. And he said, okay. Didn't ask me how much it was going to take, just said, okay. I said, all right, let's do this. So I took his 5 guys. We went picked up some other dudes out there, went and played D2. They were meh. Did semi-pro the next year. I picked up Matt Richards, Paul Richards' son, and Daniel Holiday. So I picked those 2 guys up. Those were my first 2 pros. We played semi-pro that whole year. We didn't finish less than 4th place, and that was when it was Avalanche, Impact, us, Aftermath. So it was like a serious fucking battle the whole time. Mm-hmm. We didn't win a single one of them, but we ended up taking, I think, 2nd or 3rd in the series because we didn't finish under 4th. One of the teams fell out. 2 teams fell out, and I knew Tony Minio from back in the day, and he was the NXL commissioner back then, or the X-Ball commissioner. And I talked him into giving us a spot. We went out and picked up Brian Smith. Strange happened to fall apart, so I got Mike Carthy and Timmy Probst. So I had 5 studs, and I had 5 new guys. And I said, fuck it. Worst case scenario, I'll just play the studs until the wheels fall off. Turned out the new guys, they worked their asses off and got real good. We won our Chicago that year, which was the 2nd event then. No, that was the 3rd event. 3rd event that we ever played pro, we won. And
that's amazing.
There. Yeah.
Wow. Man, that is amazing. And dude, I got to say publicly, congratulations to all the Tampa Bay guys on the history of the team. And obviously, the big win in Texas out there, and to you, pro coach of the event. Congratulations to you. What would be some advice for the listeners, or maybe a coach out there on, how you approach coaching top pro players and getting the most out of the individuals that are working for you essentially?
So it's 2 different animals, right? Like, coaching top pro players is completely different than coaching anything else. Yeah. Top pro players, like for us, for instance, X's and O's, they're important, but it's not really that important. These guys are coming with information to me that all I do is take all the information that each one of them gives me, and I put it together, and then I spit it back out of them as one cohesive thing. But it's not like I'm out there shooting it, so I have to ask you, you have to tell me, right? So at this level, I mean, honestly, like, I'll let the cat out of the bag. I don't really plan shit. We get out there, we figure out which bunkers work the best, and then I go to them and I say, what are you comfortable with? And they're like, well, where do you want me to go? I'm like, what are you comfortable with? Where would I like you to go? I'd like you to go to the snake. Can you make the snake?
Hit that red buzzer.
Right? Can you make the snake? No, I feel more comfortable in the corner. Then go to the fucking corner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because I want you in the snake, but if I force you into the snake and you get shot, you're always going to have that, well, I didn't really want to go there anyways. You're not going to say it, but you're going to have that in your subconscious, and it's going to affect the outcome of the actual event and the actual tournament. So
absolutely,
I'm going to put you in a position to be the most successful that you can. Now, if I need somebody in the snake and I know you won't go to the snake because you're not comfortable there, God bless. I'll put somebody else there who will go to the snake.
Yep.
So top pros are a little bit different than when you're doing the other stuff. When you're doing the other stuff, like when I did Mutiny, it was more of a learning the players.
Oh, right.
It's player management more than it is anything, right? When I went to Mutiny, they were like 15th out of 16 teams, like complete doo-doo. And it's not because they were bad players. It's just because they had no one organizing it. They had no one managing the personnel, right? So that's really what I do better than most coaches is I manage the personnel. Like I know how to get in their heads and I know how to get that extra 1 or 2% out of them that they can't get out of themselves. And that's really what I do well with the high end guys. With the low end guys, it's honestly just taking a little bit of the knowledge that you have from the pro side. I mean, Marcelo, you guys have all done the lower teams. You know how it is. If I gave them everything, they would be confused.
Exactly.
They would be lost.
Yeah.
So you just give them the shit that helps take them from a 60 to a 70. Because at a 70, you should be able to win most divisional stuff, right? So you're just giving them the little stuff that's going to get them where they need to get. And they're going to have to, because they got to learn a lot of it on their own. As much as we can teach them, at the end of the day, it's trial by fire at paintball, dude. You got to learn.
And Joey, what's for the listeners, what's the formula that you're looking for in players in molding like a group to work together? You know, when you're trying to figure out what 5 guys are going to be on the field, what is it that you think makes you good at being able to see, you know, who's going to fit that mold and how you're going to get the best out of certain players?
It's going to sound a little cocky, but I could watch somebody play a point and I could tell you whether they have a future in this. And I could tell you what position they're going to be best in. And I don't mean that to be like just an arrogant, cocky dude, but I've been doing this a long fucking time. I've seen everyone. I've seen the best of the best. Hell, Marcelo, when you were with Infamous, no disrespect, you weren't that good. You got good when you went to the Russians. That's when you started to get real good. And then when you left the Russians and went to Dynasty, that's when you became fucking a stud. And honestly, in the last 2 or 3 years, your game has increased so ridiculously compared to where you were. Like if you went back and watched yourself back then, you'd be like, man, I was not that sweet. Like you were good, but you were not nearly what you are now. And that just comes with experience and time, right? But you could just, I look at players and I can tell like if they have it or they don't. And it's hard to like put it into words, but you guys, I know you have to see it too. When you go out and watch somebody like Mike Urena, when you first watch him, you're like, that kid's going to be good. You know, can he get good? Who knows? But he has the potential to be real good at paintball. You know, and then there's also people where you miss on too, right? Where you're like, that guy could be real fucking good. Like Alex Young, you remember him? He played 7-man. He was on our team for a minute. That kid could have been stupid good, but he just lost interest in paintball and, you know, vanished into the fucking void of the other could have been greats, right? So, but yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just experience, dude. I've been doing this a long time. I've watched a lot of paintball. I've played a lot of paintball. You know, I went all the way up with Strange. You know, I'm not just some guy who just coaches, right? I've done all of it.
Yeah, I did. I crunched the numbers, and you trying to tell me 6 years old, I was like 85, bro. You were out there in like 85, 86. That's when you started. Damn, that's crazy.
My stepdad was one of the first people to make a pump for a gun.
Yeah, I didn't even have doo-doo to put in the diaper. Yes. There was no doo-doo to be made because I was not even born yet.
We had a lathe and a mill in our garage. And we actually, like, that was like one of the things when I was a kid. I'd have to go out there on the lathe and sand fucking PVC pumps that he was making that he was selling for nail spots.
That's legendary. That's legendary status. Yeah, that is just amazing. And so you've seen the full gambit, the full story. And what's your outlook on paintball? Where do you think this game, this sport, this culture is headed?
I think it has the potential to be great.
Me too.
I think that for us to get to that point, there has to be a little less selfishness from the top. And that might get me in trouble at some point in time for saying it, but it's the truth that nobody really wants to talk about. Like this industry is self-mutilating itself, and it has been for the last 15 years. We get outside people to come in, and then we shit on them somehow, and we lose them. And then we got to fight all the way back up the hill to try to get somebody to come back in, or we got to come out of pocket $2 million, which then puts a company out of business because you're not going to see a return on that $2 million. I mean, that's just a fact. Like that's what's happened over and over and over again. So I think for us to really get where we need to get, it's different now because we do have the social media aspect that we didn't have before, and we can reach people that we've never been able to reach without having $2 million. So I think we can get there, but I think a big part of it has to go where as a whole as the industry, we just have to get a little less selfish. Like
I was
as
going
a
to
whole.
say the telecom, the digital aspect for paintball is monumental, and there's so
Agreed.
many fresh eyes on the game right now, which is,
That and gel ball, like the jelly ball stuff, like that
yeah.
stuff's going to be huge for helping us continue to grow. But I still
Mhm.
think from where we're at right now, if Marcelo and Tyler and Joey are going to see that growth, if we're going to be in part of that, I really think it's got to go a lot more of trying to actually get that growth from the top. Where right now, I get it, the top's done a lot, but the top also still likes to make money, lots of money.
Mhm. Yeah, well, the
Absolutely.
good thing is, we have an amazing community that wants to see this game go the distance. And, at the end of the day, if we can have a bigger piece of pie and grow this thing monumentally, then it could work out for everyone. So that's got to be the goal is, keep pushing the good news, keep pushing the good stories and the good times of paintball out there, because it is contagious, man. You get people playing or talking about paintball, they're like, whoa, what is this? I want to try that. This
Yeah.
looks fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
we
it's
can't
awesome.
we
Yeah.
can't be afraid of having outside sponsors come in, and we
Agreed.
can't have the big companies within the sport feel threatened. I think that's very short-sighted.
Agreed.
If the pie gets bigger, your piece is bigger. Okay. It doesn't mean that your piece is going to be stolen.
Yep.
We want to grow
Nike
the
comes in and
pie.
makes jerseys
Yeah.
for paintball. I as Social Paintball, we make
Exactly.
jerseys.
Yes.
It's part of my life. It's part of what I do. But if Nike comes in and decides to make jerseys for paintball, that the marketing dollars that they would spend would
Yes.
bring in more people than I'm currently
Yes.
selling to. So I'm not
100%.
worried about that at all. Like
Right.
from where I'm at, fucking A, bring them. Bring anybody who's not part of this cannibalized industry into this industry,
Mhm.
please,
Mhm.
because they got way bigger marketing budgets than anyone in this industry has.
Yeah. I do think
Yep.
we're close, and you bring up a good point with social media and stuff. And you see the excitement, you see how many videographers, photographers, and different content creators are excited about doing stuff revolving around paintball right now within the industry. It reminds me of that, early mid 2000 era where there was just such a great buzz around the sport, and you're seeing paintball clips go viral on social media, on TikTok, on Instagram. You're seeing SportsCenter actually post paintball clips on their Instagram multiple times and get great engagement. That they have a team that is looking at that saying, whoa, there's something here. Every time we post a paintball thing, it's getting better engagement than any of the previous posts with like LeBron James and, this guy, that girl, whoever it is. So with that, I truly do think that as long as we keep figuring out a better way to package this whole thing, and with the acquisition of Go Sports from Bart Yakimak, I really think that he is gonna put us on the right path there. I think he has the right intentions, right?
Absolutely.
I think he truly does.
Yep.
I mean, he doesn't need to do this for money, and if anything, he's gonna lose money by doing this, And so he bought Go Sports, in my opinion, and after having him on the show, because he understands the importance of it, and he wants to bridge the gap to the outside world and these outside sponsors. So, Joey, do you have any ideas of how we could do that? What could Go Sports be doing better, or NXL, or us as pro players?
Well, us as pro players as a whole, I mean, my team's, I got like 4 guys that actually do a decent job of doing social media. The rest of them suck ass at it.
Yeah.
And that's something that as a whole, I mean, you can go through damn near everybody's roster and say that about everyone, right? Like it's not just even just sharing. It's like just actually doing what the two of you do would be if everyone did 40% of what the two of you do with social media and reaching out to people and grabbing new people and doing that. That in itself would be huge, right? Like,
agreed.
The social media aspect on the pro side is complete trash. Like that's
It's
just the
dismal,
fact, right? Right.
Yeah.
We're not making enough money where we can not care about that.
Yeah, and it's some of the most important work we can be doing because we have the biggest reach, and there's so many new eyes and ears that we can start to turn into future paintball players and really grow this sport to what it deserves to be. I do want to take a little shift here and go down like a little finals corner, talk about the finals,
right.
talk about, obviously you guys went to triple overtime and you had a win with Jacob out there, and he came out with that W over Brandon Cornell in that one-on-one, which was pretty crazy. So
yeah, I was sitting there, and shout out to Skinny, because we were sitting at Buffalo Wild Wings watching the Warriors game, and then we also had an iPad with the finals on.
Nice.
And we were all taking bets of who the teams are going to put out. And I said it's going to be Jacob and Brandon Cornell first. And he was like, no, Brian Smith and Zach.
He coached us.
And then sure enough, it's Brian Smith and Zach. And I'm like, that's why you're the coach, boss. There you go.
He coached us. He knows.
Yeah.
He knows Brian Smith. Tyler, you played against Brian Smith in some one-on-ones.
I call him Agent. He doesn't even have
He's Agent Smith.
Yeah, that's Agent Smith.
Yeah, that's one thing that he's one of those dudes where all the pro players know who he is. And he's the one dude where if he starts snapping with you, you're like, I'm just going to sit inside for a minute. He'll stop in a minute. Because could you beat him? Possibly. Is there a good chance he's going to shoot you? There's a good chance he's going to shoot you, right? Like, that's a difference between like, the top and the bottom of the pros, too. Like, knowing who's okay to gun battle. Like, if Jake's in front of you and he's close, you don't gun battle Jake. You just sit inside, wait for him to come bunker you, and someone will shoot him out, or wait to try and hit him as he's coming to get you.
I'm gunfighting all of them.
Yeah, let's go, baby. Let's go.
Right, remember that. Remember that at the next event. I'm gonna put Jake and Brian in front of you the whole time.
Oh, boy.
Don't be a pussy.
Jake was in front of me at Cup. Let's go. Jake got chirpy.
2 years ago,
chirpy at this last event too. No, not 2 years ago.
In the Dorito, like a little bitch in the corner, shooting at the Snake 50 the whole time. Don't talk to me about you. Shot Keith out of the Snake 50 and then shot Jacob heads up. What's up? Get out of here.
That was last year, not 2 years ago. That was just now.
Should have been shooting at Jake the whole time. That way Keith could have done work and blasted.
He was already in the depth. He was already walking back. You know what I'm saying? He was already gone.
You should have waited and battled him to start with.
Jacob, when we were playing you guys, Joey, in Dallas, like it was mid-match, we're walking out and he's like, these guys, they don't have nothing. Past the breakout, they're nothing. I was like, that's a big statement right there, Jacob. I thought we were boys.
About the emotionally unstable line and the emotionally stable line. Yeah. So when the emotionally unstable line gets like that, it's actually a good thing for the team. Totally. That's when they're actually clicking, right?
Yeah.
When they're chirping, that's when we got something going. So I know they got to Ryan a little bit.
I saw that.
He got
too.
Stitched up real good. He got stitched up pretty good, but he also was putting it out there. He started it when he blew Chris up, because Chris is like the coolest dude on the fucking team. He blew Chris up, and the guys were like, "Oh no, you don't! You don't fuck with our new kid."
Yeah. What I love about Ryan is he does not care at all about getting overshot. He embraces it, and I mean he's one of the best to ever do it. So it's like it's rare that you're gonna get him anyway. Tyler got him in Philly last year.
Yeah. Oh, don't act like he's not some angel out here.
No, hell no.
Come on.
Every
no, I'm not
bit of the
saying that.
shit he gets. He deserves all of it. 100%. He deserves more than he gets. He's too good. He's too good to not deserve more.
What do you think about the overshooting leeway that the league is giving these days?
I think it's dumb. I think it's a horrible idea. I think it's bad for the sport. I think it's a bad look for the sport. I think it's no different than everything else. It's trickling down the divisional fields, which is getting even worse. I mean, I get it. Oh, cool. It looks cool. They dumped a pot of paint on somebody. Yeah, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's not good for the sport. That would be like letting people elbow each other in basketball and not calling a foul on it. That's not good. Because then when you get to high school, you got fucking 16-year-old kids knocking each other out and shit because they think it's cool, because that's what Draymond Green's doing, ripping people out of the sky.
All it takes is one divisional player that is not part of the mentally stable team to take it too far and maybe actually injure somebody. And, they think that they're doing what they saw on Go Sports. And
or get injured because of it. Right? Like you overshoot the wrong guy and he turns around and treats you like the little bitch you are and breaks your fucking face open. Like,
right. Jeez.
I mean, that's just the truth of it. Like, it's going to happen.
I agree. So, I don't mind it. Shoot me as much as you want. If anything, it's going to make me play better, and it's, that's fine, but it's for, totally.
Yeah, we come from a different time of this game, Yeah.
We're definitely
totally.
Anyway,
it's back.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Marcy.
Back to, Jacob played out of his mind, and I've got so much love and respect for Jacob. But it's funny when you're inside those nets, he doesn't have friends with anybody that's in his jersey.
Nope.
And I've always loved that about Jacob, because it's like, I'm like, you're saying some shit that, no, we ain't cool. But afterwards, it's like, we're good.
Yeah, no, he's definitely he'll definitely want to. He's definitely that dude where he plays with so much emotion that like. If it popped off, I wouldn't ever be surprised. I mean, obviously, I try to draw that back as much as I can, but at the end of the day, everyone needs something, and that's his something. He plays with a lot of emotion, and a lot of heart.
That boy is a wild card. I love playing. I've been able to play like 10 men with him, and we've played some ball together and stuff. And his passion for the game and his tenacity to just be nasty out there is something that I highly respect. And when you come with that sauce and that flavor and that fire, the way that it's infectious too. It gets your team lit. People around you start to play better, and they
Absolutely.
get a little grittier, and they want a little bit more too.
Yep. That's why I put all the unstable guys on the same line.
That's
They
so
all get
awesome,
unstable
man.
together, and when honestly, Friday the unstable line not so sweet. Saturday the unstable line super sweet. Sunday both lines were clicking. Shit worked. That's just how it went, right? Like honestly,
Absolutely.
the line one, the stable dudes, they pretty much carried us through the first day. Second line carried us through the second day, and then the next day they all just clicked. And
there you go. So walk us through the finals. Let's start from start to finish, and how did you feel when it all ended with that crazy 1-on-1, man? That was insane.
So when we went into that game, like I watched those. Obviously, I watched every game Impact played on Sunday, and I saw that they were playing about 7 dudes on their roster, and they were having. They had a battle with you guys. Like to get through you guys, I saw it take it out of them. We played NRG. We had a really good game plan against NRG. So, like Marcel was saying earlier, when we played those guys, we got up on them, and I told our dudes, I was like, if we get up a point or two on these guys, they're fucked. Like they had been up on everyone the whole time. They hadn't had to fight to get a point yet. And we came out of the bracket of you fought for every fucking point, even the ones you were trying to hold, you fought for. When you were behind, you had to fight. Like, so I feel like we had a better understanding of what was going to happen. So when we played them, we got up on them by 2 points, and I was like, that's game. Like these guys aren't going to be able to fight back on this because even if they score a point, we're still going to score another point. So we're always going to be up a point or two on them no matter what. And it happened that way, right? Like they didn't play bad.
Critical.
We just played better. Like, so we had time and switching lines back and forth. My dudes were crazy fresh. Like it's the freshest I've ever seen any of our guys, to the point where when we left, the dudes are like, yeah, I could play another day. Which, when's the last time any of you played all the way to the finals have been like, I can play another day? So we get to that game with Impact. I didn't want to change much as far as the lines. I didn't want to change anything. Things were clicking. Guys were working. Went out, played line one, scored the first point. Went out, played line two. They scored a point. It was 1-1. It was a hard game, though. It came down to one of their bodies left at the end. Keith made an awesome move down the Dorito side to clear out most of them. I think it was Cornell ended up pushing the buzzer, and he just put a good shot on Jake at the very end, or that would have been a 1-on-1. So I wasn't worried about those guys. I knew they'd get it back. Next point we went out, we won with the stable line. Put out the unstable line on the next point, and they won. So we were up, I think it was 3-1 at that point, with like 4 minutes left. Impact's really good when time's running out. Like to hold against those guys is super hard. So we kept trying to put pressure on them. We still went to the snake almost every point on them. They weren't shooting the snake well, which is really weird. And I think that comes from you being their hardest team they played up to that point and not having to actually experience how to fucking get that guy out, where we were actually shooting their snake eye 50% of the time, which is what happened in our bracket all the way through. Like nobody went to the snake every point and made it, where they were used to Axel making it every time. And I think that threw them for a little bit of a loop. And I think that comes back to them just not having that bracket that we had to come through to get there. You know, we had to play Infamous twice, where Harrison was playing that snake really, really well. He was getting there consistently. He did it against everybody. So once we started shooting him 50% of the time, I was like, shit, ain't nobody getting there that much.
Especially when he's coming out.
Right. Right. Well, we're not going to go to that part of the game. We're trying to keep this friendly and upbeat and make people happy about paintball. We don't want to get to the dark side of it. So
Harrison's been balling lately. I got to give him some
agreed.
love as
And
well.
honestly,
Harrison has been playing really damn good paintball.
Even the shady shit he does when he does it, it's not his job to call himself out.
It's not.
It's the ref's
I'd want
job.
him on my team.
Right. So I never get mad at people playing on or playing that gray area or even cheating outright. I had never mad at somebody for doing that. I get shitty with them if they lie to me about it, right? Because I know what's going to happen. And it's not your job to call yourself out. It's the ref's job. Obviously, it would be great if everyone was perfect and we didn't have scumbagginess in paintball, but that's part of paintball, right? Like that's part of it. That's a fucking skill. Some of the best players in the world are just really, really good at it, and you never see them doing it. But they do it. I mean, everyone does it at some point, so I ain't mad about that. But yeah, so then it was a 1 point game, minute and 32 seconds left. Went back from the unstable line to the stable line. They went out. They
the unstable line to the stable line.
They did what they could. Ended up losing that one. Whatever. So they tied it up and went to overtime. Oh no, wait! There was one more point. That's right. There was the no point where Jason pulled a 3-on-1 off. Forgot about that. That's a big fucking point.
Yeah.
So they're coming at us with 34 seconds
left. What an animal, dude.
He's at that tower, that tall tower on the snake side.
Yeah.
He fucking KLH's Zach, right? Just completely just like, shoots him in the side of the head, comes back on the inside, shoots, I think it was Laval coming up the center. And then Axel's running on the Dorito sides and they trades with Axel. Whatever. You can watch the replay and make up your own decision if you traded with him or not. No penalties called, so we go to OT. That's the one time I spin that same line because the stable line was doing a little bit better. So I was like, cool, let's run those guys again. Go into OT. We both drop a body. They're in pretty good positions, whatever. OT time runs out. Go into that one-on-one shit. When we go into the one-on-one stuff, I wasn't going to play anyone off of the stable line, but Brian Smith had gotten shot early on that last point, so he was fresh, ready to go. So I went to Jake and I said, do you want it or do you want me to give it to Brian? I said, make a decision because we're going to go to one-on-ones. It was while that overtime point was finishing. I was cool with either one of them. He comes over to me and the point ends and I go, did you decide? They're like, what? Like, all right, fuck it. Brian, you're out there. So we put Brian out there. They put Zach out there. Brian's gun actually wasn't working.
Oh, no way.
Zach. Sorry, Zach. Didn't mean to drop that one on you. So Brian's gun wasn't working. He was only shooting like maybe 200 feet per second the whole time. Yeah. So his first ball would go normal. And then after that, it was like, so he stopped shooting like fast. He just started going, book, book. Like if you go back and watch it, he doesn't ramp the gun at all. Because you don't want Zach to know that because then Zach's going to go run him down and shoot him, which is what anyone would have done in that situation. But Brian puts those balls so close to the side every time he comes out, you're like, fuck that. So yeah, they were both doing that back line run stuff. No one was really moving, whatever. I go to Jake and I say, you're next. And then I go and I say, Jason, you want it next after that? Or Keith, do you want it? Because I'm ready to go through my whole roster, right? I figure they're going to put Fuzzy out, or I honestly thought Fuzzy was their next guy. And then honestly, I thought Jarula would be their next guy. I didn't even think Brandon would be their next guy. Not that he's not good at one-on-ones, but Fuzzy and Jarula are really good at one-on-ones. Like I've seen those dudes.
Brandon is really good at one-on-ones, dude. Holy shit. I was surprised at how quickly he lost quick. It looked like maybe the moment was a little too much, I guess, but
yeah,
Brandon I thought Brandon would have went out first.
I was like, as soon as he went to the Doritos, I was like, oh, he's fucked. Like, because he went to the Doritos, and you guys know as well I do. One-on-ones playing a Dorito, it's okay if the guy's directly in front of you, but if the guy's at a can and can move around, Doritos are really big and awkward, and they get hard to play. And all you have is edges. You can go high and low on them, but they're weird because the way they're slanted and stuff. Like a stand-up can, a big tower, like it makes a little more sense in most one-on-ones, unless the guy's directly in front of you at another Dorito, in my opinion.
Yeah, shoot. I like Doritos in one-on-one battles. I enjoy gunfighting out of them. Yeah, totally. It might be because I grew up playing I kind of played all over, but I played a lot of the Doritos. I feel like it's a really good position to gunfight from. A can is almost the most difficult position to gunfight from because it's straight up and down.
I don't know. You got both sides. You can go up and down either one of them, and they're a little easier to get out of usually because they're usually further in the back.
Sure.
But when he went to the first Dorito, I was like, okay, cool. And then he kept trying to press the tempo up the Doritos. I'm like, where the fuck's he even trying to go? You trying to go up to that block? Like, nobody wants to play a block in a one-on-one.
Right.
Like, they're so fucking big. I mean, you can pop the top on it, move around, whatever. But, like, he's a lot easier for you to lose him than him to lose you at that point. So,
yeah. And then past that is the snake. Then the next bunker is the snake.
I was super confused why and plus he's playing left-handed, and he's not left-handed. He's right-handed.
But Jacob went to the same spot. Jacob shot Brandon from essentially the same bunker.
Jake would not have gone to that Dorito until
he didn't go.
Right.
Yeah.
As soon as he went, Jacob went.
Right.
All right. And it was just so he could stop him because once he gets there, he's fucked. So, and I mean, this is what we do. Like, we start every practice with a one-on-one tournament. Every single time we play, we do a one-on-one tournament. Like, every time. Everybody plays everyone at least once, and I keep record of it, and I tell them who won and make fun of the guys that lose and tell them
it's good for the team.
Yeah, totally.
Right. So, I mean, they're very accountable in one-on-ones, and one-on-ones are what we do. Like that's our thing. Like we do
Mhm.
so many one-on-ones from top to bottom that once we went to one-on-ones, I was like, there's no way we're going to lose. Like no
Mm.
fucking way. So I was super confident in that.
Dude,
And then Jake
I was
was gone.
just, it was so exciting. It was like,
It was exciting to
Jake.
watch.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
The
crazy.
shot Jacob made was insane. It really
That was
was
crazy.
because it was not only a snapshot, it was a snapshot that was predicting the move. So it wasn't like a traditional gunfight.
Right.
And he knew he shot him without even staying out. Like he made the shot, came in and was like, get out.
Get out.
And I was like,
Get out.
damn.
Yeah. It was
Damn,
dirty.
Jacob.
It was dirty.
Damn.
Yeah.
It was.
And
It was.
that was one of those things where, like, when I put Jake out there, Jake's really good at one-on-ones. I was confident he was going to win, but I also knew, like, Jake compared to anyone else, this one-on-one win could propel him further than anyone else on our roster. That makes sense. Like,
Yeah,
this kind of
it certainly
thing for
does.
him,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's a big moment and it's a big thing. And,
I want to talk to you about this.
It's definitely like one of those things where, like, if you win that, like, your trajectory changes drastically.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And for some dudes, it changes to the point where this could be like the difference from him being really fucking good to holy shit, nobody wants none of that smoke anymore.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean,
congratulations to both of the
Thank you.
dudes out there and everybody. You know, you make it that far. Congratulations to both squads out there.
the one-on-one I had against Kirill in the World Cup finals in like 2008 when I was 18 years old, winning that one-on-one was monumental in my career. So like having big moments. And one of the common questions we ask the different pro players that we have on the show is, did you have success in divisional paintball growing up? And, you know, it's kind of interesting. You do see like the really elite players also had success in big moments in divisional paintball growing up. These big moments are so crucial for the rest of your career. It
even
brings
at the
me
stage
back.
he's at. Even him being as seasoned pro as he is, like
absolutely,
it
absolutely,
lights a fire under his ass that I guarantee you can't duplicate that. It's not something you can practice for or anything. Once you hit that, it's just a whole nother confidence / like validation of everything you do.
Those are the moments that the divisional teams that I coach. Major shout out to the kid Ben that I work with. Everyone's heard me talk about him, but it's not so much that he consistently goes out there and is shooting 3-4 guys. It's that I've seen him in certain moments in tournaments step up and pull out insane stuff at the biggest moment, you know, and like, that's just stuff you can't teach, you can't train. And I know that those moments that he's had are going to help him the rest of his career. I want to talk to you about this real quick, Joey, because this is the X Factor way and even Impact the way they do it. X Factor especially, so quick to blow the horn, so quick. I truly believe it robs some of his players from having a big moment that could really change how they play and feel about themselves.
I'm overly confident in our guys. Like if we're 4-on-5, I'm not doing shit. If we're 3-on-5, I still think we're going to win.
Yeah.
I honestly and it's not like I'm like blowing smoke up my own ass and pretending. Like I honestly believe most 3-on-5s we're going to win because most teams are going to try to press the issue. Mm-hmm. And if you press on us, I catch one body. Now it's a 4-on-3. You're fucked because now you're once I shoot that one guy out, you're not in the best spots anymore. We're in the best spots because we're the 3, right?
Totally.
So I go the other way with it, where unless it's something that I know we can't pull off, or if I have to, like if it's against you guys and Sunshine, I had to blow a couple of those because you guys weren't going to fucking move. You were up. You know, you guys are experienced enough to know, okay, we shot a guy. It's 5-on-4. We're up by 2 points. Story time. Lock it up. You know what I mean? Like I have to submit those points because I got to save the clock, hoping we can go out and catch a body or two on the next one, right? Or do some big move that's going to change something. You know, and I've learned a lot, honestly. Like at this point in the game, you wouldn't think there's that much for me to learn, but I learn a shitload every time we go out there. I learned a shitload from the Sunshine, and the stuff I learn it's different now, right? Like I'm not necessarily learning the basics or even some of the advanced shit. I'm learning more like what's SK's tendencies, because that's huge now. Like not so much even what you're going to do, because I know what you're going to do pretty much by that point in the tournament. I pretty much know everything you're going to do, right? I've scouted the shit out of you guys. I know every one of you. I know the positions you're going to play. I know how you're going to do it. At that point, I'm trying to figure out, like I went back and watched that game. I probably watched it 15 times now. And all I'm trying to do is figure out, why did Skinny put this guy out in this position this time? So now when I go back and learn, it's different. I'm not learning necessarily about you guys, because I know all of you.
Totally.
I know your tendencies. I know what Tyler's going to do on a fucking 3-on-4 if he's one of the three. I know what he's going to do if he's one of the four. Right? I have enough data on you guys to know. Now it's more like why. Why did this happen? How did this happen? So even at this point in my stage in this career, it's like I'm learning a shitload, but just by doing it at different angles and looking for different stuff that other people would be like, yeah, you should know that, but the amount of time I spend it's kind of pathetic and over obsessive. I mean, even
that's
on that
what it takes.
Yeah, that last match we played where we won, I've watched that thing 4 times already, and you can ask the guys in the chat. I made sure they all knew that they sucked and we fucked up in a lot of different places. I'm glad we won, but there's so many small mistakes that we made that if they would have capitalized on, we wouldn't have won. Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm still looking at it like I'm still going back through everything, every game we play. Like when we played you guys, even at this last event, when we played X Factor at the last event, like this last event, like I'm going through those games and I'm just analyzing like, why did Ryan Brand do this? Okay, they were down by 2 points here. Why would he do that? I don't understand it. Let me try to figure out, like, get in his mind and try to figure it out. And that's something I've never done before because I've never really had to. Like, when I originally did the damage thing, I set it up so I didn't have to be the coach. I was, back then we had the snake side coach too. So I was more of the manager / snake side coach guy because I would just take all the kids and I would muppet them down the snake and have them shoot everyone, right? Like I'd have Rumsey in the snake and I would tell him when to come up, when to go down. You know, like I was the brains of the operation. And
dude, Rumsey, right? If you listen to this, major love to Rumsey.
He's still around. I keep trying to talk him out of retirement, dude, constantly.
Dude, we need him in the game.
Right.
Yeah.
So
he's the man.
So it's just different levels at this point now where as a coach, I'm not so much looking for necessarily what you're going to do, Marcelo, or you're going to do, Tyler, or what Fedorov's going to do. I'm looking at like why did Todd do this? You know, why did SK do that? Right. And trying to figure out if I can find an advantage on that. And I think that's where the separation comes on these teams now, where it's not so much even about the players as much as it is about the whole organization and how you can break it down. And it's like the little shit you talk about, like playing the layout as much as you can to get every little competitive advantage. It's no different. Like me watching the game over and over and over again and seeing why SK played this guy here, or why did all of a sudden Ryan do this? You know, like that's the kind of shit that I'm really trying to better myself on to get that 1% out of me, which then I could push into a 0.5% into each one of the players.
Mm-hmm. That's what it takes right there to be the best. I mean, you gotta put in the time and the effort and take the, care. You really care about that process and learning all those little minute details. Because when it comes to that crunch time, when you need that extra little bit of info to make a great decision, that extra 15, 20 minutes you spent looking at those details are going to really matter.
Facts.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Man, Joey, how big do you think this win at the Lone Star Open was for the team moving forward?
Oh, it's huge, dude. Like these dudes haven't tasted this. I mean, I had 3 guys that have never even, or I had 2 guys that have never been in a pro finals. I've had 3 guys that have never had a pro win. Of the, that's 30% of my roster got a pro win, right?
Amazing.
And they didn't just get a pro win; they contributed to the pro win. I mean,
totally.
I literally split the lines the whole time, right? Yeah. Unstable line, stable line, unstable line, stable line, the whole time. Like these dudes played. If we played 100 points, everybody played 50, and I can guarantee you, no one's done that in 10 plus years, where they've actually gone straight up 10 guys, 5-5, and not mixing lines, not changing lines. From the first day I set it up at practice on that second weekend to when we finished the event, it was the same 5 guys on each line playing together. I mean, I went old school on Marcelo. I made guys the 2 snake guys room together, the 2 Dorito guys room together.
Nice.
Dude, this is like
value in that.
Yeah. This is like some old school Bob Long stuff right here. This reminds me of like Oakland Assassin style.
All of these things are so what Joey's doing. I relate to what you're doing so damn much, Joey, because that's how I've approached everything in my career.
Which is why
I'm not going to try to get. I'm not. I'm not going to try to get 50% better at this one thing. If I could get 0.5% better at this and 0.5% better at that, and a little bit here, a little bit there, now I'm 50% better than I was. And having players room together that are going to have conversations about how they're going to get down that side of the field. They go back and they say, hey man, actually dude, that 1 point today would have been great. Do you think you could have put in this center guy, or could you have gotten out to this spot to put him in? So then I could have went, those kind of conversations happen But
Yeah.
if you don't allow it to happen because you just don't simply put him in that position for it to happen, then it never happens.
Right. And that's one thing good about running two lines is that it makes it a lot easier to do shit like that. Where, if you're running the hybrid line stuff, like for you guys at Sunshine, it's a perfect example. I know that one better because I watched it more. It was you, Urena, Archie, and Ryan pretty much playing the snake side, right? That was your main four guys over there. And those four guys, when they alternated through, like, there's no way you could even room the two of you together or any of the two of you together because you all played together or not together so many different times. Like where the way I did it this time, it made perfect sense.
Totally.
Jarrett and Brian, or Jarrett and Chad, stayed together. They were the two guys on the snake side on that line. Keith and Brad stayed together because they were the two guys on the snake side on that line. So Jason and Jacob were playing the three position. Those two guys stayed together so they could talk about what their lines were doing and how to better their lines. That was the whole mentality behind. I don't know. I just went really old school with it, and having a 10-person roster, it's scary. Don't get me wrong. Like, I questioned myself multiple times at that tournament. Like, fuck, should I go hybrid? Should I just go down to my 7? But I'm like, fuck it. I'm riding this out, bro. It is what it is. Like, we were up in almost every match. So we weren't really fighting except for against you guys. We were up in almost every match. And even the ones we lost, we lost the one in overtime when we were up by 3 points. We got 3 fucking minors. They got a major and a minor. We got 3 minors. We lost by a point.
Yeah.
That's why we lost, because of the fucking minors. You get one of those minors, we don't lose those points. It's a whole nother game. So, which, I'll give the refs credits. They were throwing minors on everybody's pack hit. At least it was consistent, right? I don't necessarily agree with that, but they did, at least for everybody. So it made me feel less upset about the whole situation.
I definitely do not agree with it. I think the refs have done. I think the refs have done a fantastic job. Probably one of the best reffing crews we've had, maybe ever. I truly will say that.
I can get behind that for sure.
Yeah, I do think this last event, it felt like they were changing the game, and not intentionally, but
nope. But it was.
And this is any sport that I watch, and I'm a huge sports fan. I watch all sports. I watch so many different sports. I don't want to see the refs changing the game. Just keep it fair, And if you see something like set the tone, and in paintball specifically, this last weekend I saw so many times where a player got shot and a ref is like, could just say, "Hey, you're out," and that's it. But instead, they like wait a second. The player might shoot for an extra second or two, or make a slide, and it's a penalty. And in paintball, with a 6-point mercy, if you pull it in 5-on-5, if you pull another body, that's a really big. It's huge. It way outweighs the extra 4 paintballs that came out of that player's gun.
Yep, I agree.
And it's tough. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's. You watch all sports and people are complaining about the reffing in the NBA playoffs right now. It's just the way it goes. I mean, it's human error. So it's, again, no fault. And I don't think there's any malicious intent behind it, but I would still say the reffing right now is probably the best reffing we've had since I've been back, for sure. I would say last year's World Cup was probably the best reffing I can remember in paintball. We didn't win. So that's a big, totally. That's a big voice for them.
And
I didn't.
Of course, I thought the reffing was great.
Yeah, right, of course. Right. And we have to, we're all human. We make mistakes every day. So that's gonna. There's no matter what. Like you said, yeah.
Constantly, whenever there's a penalty or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, we lost because of this." Like, I could say that, but shut the fuck up. You can't.
Yeah, exactly.
The other 4 points we lost, that's the issue. Like, let's fix what we can fix. And if I bitch about it, it's completely different, right? Because I'm not on the fucking field. You are. So those other 4 ones where you guys got shot out or you didn't win those points, how can we fix that? Let's work on that. Let's not worry about what the refs are doing, because that cost us 3 points, but we lost 5-4. So what happened? So those 3 points suck, but what about the other 2 points?
I really
did we shit the bed.
I can't get loud enough about this concept right here. Just no excuses, really. You just gotta be the best, and if it doesn't go your way, don't blame, don't make excuses.
Fix what you can fix. What's under your control?
Put it on your shoulders. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and move forward with some poise to be the best version you can be, and take responsibility. Even the shit that is like, I had no control. I would never want that to happen to, whatever. Take responsibility, because it's only going to make you stronger. Like, no matter what happens.
Yeah, find a way to, for sure.
Yeah. My
Yeah,
brother.
100%.
All right. Well, we got the PTG Discord rolling through with some questions. So we're going to roll into the PTG World chat. And before we get into that, I do want to plug for you guys your Tampa Bay Damage merch. Everybody head over to tampabaydamage.com. Support the TBD crew. And you guys also have
jerseys. Let's go.
Yep, and you guys also have the merch over at socialpaintball.com as well, limited edition merch. So go check that out as well.
Yeah, the guys get kickbacks on every one of those signature jerseys. So y'all need to, next time y'all up for jersey sponsorships, holla at your boy. Because
there we go.
Social sponsoring the teams, and for Damage, we did this signature jersey for every player that they get a kickback on for every one of them that are sold, and they don't have to touch it or do anything with it.
Nice,
yeah,
awesome.
So just trying to help them make some more money because they're all poor.
Support your favorite pros, man. Go out there and show some love, and show some love to those players because they're working hard to be out there on that field, and every little bit helps them.
Facts.
Yeah,
100%. All right, I'll go for the first question. We got EJH281. What was the difference on the team between past events and this event that allowed Tampa Bay Damage to get over the hump?
We practice hyperball.
You think that's it? You think that was the secret?
I mean, honestly, go back and watch it. Now that I said that, go back and watch, because I'm sure you're going to anyways, but go back and watch and just listen. Just listen, because don't listen to Maddie. Don't listen to anyone up there talking. Just listen to the guys. Like, the communication was so fucking good. We knew where every single one of them were on every single point. Hell, at one point, Mike goes, monkey to Brian, and Chad goes, no, Brian's still there. I can see him. Brian's fine. Brian's like, yeah, I'm here. I got the tequila on lock. You know what I mean? Like the communication was so good. And I honestly believe doing that hyperball shit, it helped a lot with that. And you guys know,
cool.
if you're jiving with the communication, winning's easy.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Marsh did a post on his Instagram. He was like, it's just so much easier when you communicate well with others, or life's easy.
Yeah, life gets easy when you communicate well with others.
Yeah,
100%. I mean, in paintball, communication is so big. I pride myself on my communication. It's a selfless kind of thing too. When I'm out there, I'm trying to help my players. However, I can give my players the best information so that they can have a better point, helps the whole team, and it helps me play better too. And so I really try to make that a big focus of my game.
All right, we got the video, and major love to all of the the video drops videos in the social for the PTG World chat in there, and we have a bunch of creators in there that are just dropping tons of fun content. He said, regardless of the win being a major or a minor, how does it feel to break that 5-year streak, which is not 5 years, it's more than that, I think.
It's like 9 years.
Yeah, so 9 years. The bracket you were in exemplified some of the hardest competition anyone faces in the pro league. The question is, what changed from the first encounter with Infamous to the second, and how did the first game inform your game plan for the second?
So, I mean, obviously, with that first match, first game, I think we played, it was like 7-6 or something. So we played 13 points, and we learned a lot, right? We also got 3 minors. Like, truly, that's the biggest difference. Like, those 3 minors, we lost by a point in overtime with 3 minors. So pull those out. We didn't get any on that next match. It got a lot easier. Plus, we were able to watch them play the rest of the event. They had some new players on their team that threw us for a little bit of loop to start with, because they brought that Nate Schroeder, and they had Shorty on the team, the Sean Sosina. Those guys, they weren't on the team at the first event. So, this event, having those guys out there, that first match threw us for a little bit of loop, because you didn't really know what you were going to get out of them or if you were going to see them. And those dudes were starters for them the rest of that tournament. So by the time we got to them in the second match, we just had a better understanding of what they were going to do. We knew the field a little bit better, and we didn't get penalties.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah. All right, from our boy David Lertzima. Hey, coach, congrats on the win. After taking some criticism last year about the style of play or lack of aggression Tampa Bay Damage was deploying, what changes in the offseason did you make to play style? And if changes were made, what or who had the biggest impact to make a change?
So this is the one thing that drives me a little nuts. We don't have a style. Like, we're really good at certain things, and if we have to fall back on that, we will. And depending on the layout, we could be the most aggressive team out there or the least aggressive team out there. Mm-hmm. I would say at the Sunshine Open, we were more aggressive than Dynasty, and we didn't win because they were better playing the field better because it wasn't meant to be played as fast as we were trying to play it. So it really depends on the layout. Like, that's the truth of it. Like, I've gone out. I mean, hell, every time we play Dynasty, there's no aggression anymore. Like, we all go out, we hit our spots, and we try to do is whatever you can do to stay alive as long and try to get the kill. Because once you get that first kill, everything opens up and the whole game changes. Whenever we play Heat, it's the same damn thing. Like, none of us are going to go out there and just flame out to flame out when it matters, right? On Friday, it's a little different. There's a lot of flaming out because you're still learning, you're still trying. You got room for a little bit of error. You can screw up. On Sunday, there's no screwing up. You screw up, you go home. Yeah. So we've never really tried to be a slow team, right? If the field dictates slow play, we'll slow play the shit out of it. We'll do it better than most people. And I think that's why we have that, oh, you're a slow team. But we go. I mean, I made this last event, the snake was makeable. I got fast guys this year. I made the snake almost every single point. In the finals, I made the snake. Every point we went there, we made it on the break. So we'll go if we can. But if the field dictates not going, why the fuck am I going to throw bodies just to make people think we're a fast team?
Of course.
You know?
Yeah. No, you got to play. You got to PTG, baby.
Got to play the game, baby.
Right?
Got to play the game.
Yeah. All right. We got young lettuce in the house. Looked like you gave Chris Horn the opportunity to prove himself in some important situations throughout the tournament. What have you seen out of him that allowed you to put your trust in him in those big moments?
That kid grinds harder than anybody else. He goes out on the weekends. He plays 1-on-1, 2-on-2s, 3-on-3s. I mean, if you can go out and punk Brian Smith 2 out of 3 times in a 1-on-1, or punk Jake, split games with Jake in 1-on-1, you're showing me a lot, right? You're showing me you're putting the work in. So we go out to the practices and he's there. He's doing his job. He's doing everything we ask of him. Like, I'm like, yo, you need to get faster. Kid goes and works out and gets faster. I'm like, yo, he's the first one at practice. He's the last one to leave practice. We're done. He's setting up targets and going out and shooting them. Like, he's putting in more work than anyone else. And I explained to him a year ago when we brought him on, I was like, look, dude, think of it like a marathon, right? You're joining a marathon right now that these dudes have been running for 10 fucking years. Like, you're not going to just catch up to these guys unless you put in way more work than them. These dudes have been running their asses off for the last 10 years. You're not just going to magically catch them. You got to work harder than them. You got to work harder than these guys on your team and harder than the dudes that are out working harder.
I hate to break it to you, but it's more like 15, 16 years.
Yeah, but you've only been good for like 10 of them years.
I don't know. I was starting on one of the teams that beat you in one of those events that you forgot about, 2010 Chicago, but we won't talk about that.
That's back when you were on Infamous and you guys won one tournament a year and then you sucked the rest, right?
Exactly.
Because I was in the finals at all those matches. So.
Hey, all I know is we won. You didn't. I don't think you guys got a dub that year, my man.
Did you see me at World Cup when we had a series championship?
Here we go. It's a shootout. No? It's a shootout.
Hey, bro, we can go back. Listen, we can go back 10 years ago, and I promise you, my record's better than yours. 10 years ago, I promise you.
I don't think so, bro.
We won 7 events in a row. We won 4 7-mans and 3 PSPs. All same calendar year.
I had so I had 3 PSPs under my belt. I had multiple 7-mans under my belt. I don't know, bro. I don't know if you did at that time.
One calendar year?
No, not in one calendar. You didn't have that in one calendar year.
We did too. We won 4 in a row.
They did. They went on a sick one.
We won 3 PSPs.
Yeah.
So it was Chicago Cup and then the first event of the next year,
that mic
right?
And walk away, boys.
Is that right? It was Chicago Cup and then the first event of the next year? That was when you brought in J-Rab and Dave Baines, though. You had to bring in the big guns.
No, I had just Dave Baines, the first one we won, and then we brought J-Rab in after that.
Nice.
So, and that was
that was a hell of a run. Hey, that was a hell of a run.
That's when he had a lot of hair, and he was like, "Oh, look at me, I'm pretty." And that was a whole different J-Rab. He wasn't that good back then.
Anyway, asshole. My point to all this is that we're old, and it's been a lot longer. An asshole. They go hand in hand.
They don't.
No, one of them actually goes in a hand, and then the other one. Yeah.
Well, let's just put it this way: one never gets fucked. Okay, let's just go.
Oh Jesus. Right. Okay. All right. We went
Sorry, lettuce head. We're off on the tangent here.
Yeah, crickets on that.
Oh man, that's good. All right. So I think it's my turn for a question, right? Got through that one. From Kaylin, Inspired Paintball. How did you choose who was going to play the one-on-ones? I think you kind of answered that a little bit, but let's elaborate a little more. It's a big decision for a coach, man. I mean, and honestly, again, I thought Jacob would have went first, so it's a big decision for a coach. How did you confidently do that?
So Jacob's going to win. More likely than not, Jacob's going to win or lose. He's not going to let time run out for any reason. Brian is a little more methodical. And I think if Brian knows he can't get it, because like Zach wasn't getting off that back line. Like Zach went from the corner to the can, to the tower, to the corner, to the can, to the tower, right? So he wasn't looking to press the tempo. So Brian's gun not working kind of sucked, but Brian wasn't. I know Brian wouldn't force the issue, right? Because he knew if time ran out, we would just put the next guy out. Yeah. So I was willing to let Brian go first because I know Brian's either going to win or we're going to go to the next person.
Totally.
Jake's less likely to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot less likely to do that. And Jason's not going to do that. Like you're either going to win or lose with him 100% of the time. Mm-hmm. He's either going to go out there and just put it on the kid and win, or he's going to lose because the kid puts a good shot on him. But so my thoughts were, plus more likely than not, they're going to put their best guy out first. And I feel confident that Brian can beat their best guy. I feel Jake could probably beat their best guy too. But Brian, if he can't beat their best guy, won't push it into death.
Right. And then Jacob can definitely beat their second best guy. There's a lot of strategy there. No, I see it. I see it for sure.
All right. We got Papa Sash. He says, are reverse mirror layouts a thing now? What do you think? Are we going to see more of that style?
So when I first got there, I was like, yo, this is dope. This would have been awesome to practice. But then after just playing 3 days on it, I was like, wow, this would have been horrible to practice. It would not have been that sweet at all.
It was redundant, right? Because it's the same story on both sides. So it was like, redundant.
And honestly, all that would happen with another 3 days of us practicing it, we would have just had everything locked down to the point where people would have been like, Damage is such a slow team. It's like, no, asshole, this field is a slow field.
It was really a slow field. Yeah.
It was only fast to a point, but like, dude, fucking
you could
Axel's in our Dorito, and we're able to live with 5 bodies still. Mm-hmm. In our Dorito, we still have 5 bodies left. He can't shoot anyone. That field is slow.
Yeah, 100%. All right, Joey, my last question from Shadow. If you were told one pro player was an alien, who would you guess it was and why?
That's a good question. An alien.
Dude, that would be so crazy. What?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I would definitely would have said at one point in time, Tyler for sure. When we had Tyler on the team. No, you're way. You got kids now, bro. They leveled you off, bro. They leveled you off completely. At one point, you. Now, I don't know. Maybe Sam. Sam Monville. I can say he's
Sammy White.
He's one of my favorite people in paintball, but definitely I could see him being like, he's just way too analytical and smart and nice to earth.
Dude, he's the best. Major love to Sam.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome. All right, let's see. We got Tag. This is gonna be my last one. First of all, congrats on the hard-fought and well-deserved win. He's going with the old trusty question here. As a coach, choose your all-star lineup, starting 5 past or present players.
Not on my team or on my team?
Anything you want. Past, present, any players, 5 of them, your line. There's a lot of paintball players to choose from.
I'm not going to say anyone on my team, anyone that's been in my program, just because that's too easy. I'm going to go with Ryan Greenspan for sure. I'm going to go with Angel for sure.
Shout out to the OG.
Yeah, I'm going to go with from old school. I don't know, man. I think I'm pretty drained on that already. Then I'd probably go with the 2 of you, like if I'm building a team. And then I already got my snake covered. I got my 2 Ds. I got my back. So I need another snake guy. I'd probably ride the Soya out there in his prime.
Soya was nasty.
Yeah.
Complete animal.
You do Angel and Soya on that side because, that's just disgusting. Let Ryan play the 3 and then put you 2 on the Doritos together. Yeah, that team would fucking whoop up on most teams. I can't see too many other teams hanging with that.
Nasty, man.
Dude,
huge
insane.
honor.
Hell yeah. What?
My current stable line.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the boys.
the stable line.
Unstable
Champs
line.
right now, baby.
I mean, you're flipping a coin on the unstable line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Heads are fucking you up. Tails, not going so good.
You talk to Skinny Kevin a lot, huh?
Yeah. Actually, he just texted me
sure.
like
That's
20
funny.
minutes ago.
Yeah. You guys are so similar. I love it. Skinny Kevin's been the best thing to happen coming back to Dynasty. Don't you dare fucking try to steam.
100% agree.
Keep him over here.
100% agree. If I couldn't get you, I wanted him because that that would completely and totally ruin it for you guys. 100%. Like I definitely see that.
Yeah.
Like he coached. I mean, I had him as a coach on my team. Like I know who he is. I know, he's very smart, very analytical. He also can be very serious and a dick when he needs to, which is
he just, to me, he does a great job of building relationships with the players and getting the most out of them. That's something he's really damn good at.
Our job as coaches 100%. Is to try to get another 2 or 3% out of you. I mean, all you guys are hitting at the top level. All you guys are hitting at 90 plus, right? So if we can squeeze 2 more % out of you, and we can convince you to get another 2% on your own, that 94 is a hell of a lot better than a 90.
Yeah, then we're pushing for sure. Well, Joey, hey man, thank you so much for stopping by and for everything that you've done in paintball for such a tremendous amount of time, for the culture of the game, not just in Florida, but worldwide. Tampa Bay is a staple in professional paintball, and you have a big role in that being a staple in this culture. So thank you. And I don't know if you have any like shout outs or any, thanks you want to give, but we're just grateful to have had your story database here on PTG, brother.
Yeah, no worries, dude. I appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate you guys doing this platform. I mean, this is huge. The more content we get out, the better it is for the sport as a whole. I'm definitely for you guys. I want to grow this thing. Not only just because I love paintball. I live this world. You know what I mean? I'm one of the owners of Social Paintball. I do this 7 days a week. I'm here normally till 8 or 9 o'clock at night every single night. You know what I mean? Like I go home, pick the kids up from school, then come back to work after they go to bed for a couple hours. It's a nonstop grind, man. Like, as far as the team goes, thank all the sponsors. The GI paint was phenomenal, has been all year. Lux, the guns are ridiculous. First Strike for the tanks, obviously Social for the jerseys, Bunker King for the goggles, loaders. Those loaders are ridiculous. You guys got to experience the loaders now. I think both of you guys are using the Virtue Bunker King stuff now, so you guys know it's another level. Everyone's it's great to be where we're at. I love what we do. We're doing something that everyone who's listening to this would give damn near anything to be a part of. So we're all blessed.
Absolutely. Yeah, man.
Awesome, brother. Joey, thank you so much, man. Again, huge congrats. Hopefully the streak doesn't last too long. We're both coming for your next event.
So we decided to go for a 4-peat. Just to squash your 3-peat so you guys don't match.
Well,
you match
don't worry.
Listen.
When we win Philly, it'll still be a 4-peat. It'll be 4 majors in a row. So
you guys
that's
dropping down to semi-pro.
That's just how it goes. Dropping down to semi-pro. The hell
you win at pro.
Huh?
Didn't you guys get regulated down again? Aren't you guys in the challengers bracket again? Isn't that a thing still?
We weren't quite last place. Okay, we were like close.
All right.
Actually, I don't even know what place we got. Wasn't good. Didn't make Sunday. That was the first time that I've gone 0-2, maybe in my career on a Friday. I've gone 2-2, and plenty of times with Dynasty, especially in the last like 5 years. But 0-2, oh my
it's not
God.
so much 0-2. It's the 0-2 with a negative like point,
negative
that 6 or some shit. I was like, holy God, the point spread. What happened to you guys?
Yeah, we got there was a few things that had happened, but we also just did not show up.
Yeah,
is what it is.
Paintball, man.
Finals, though.
Yeah,
it's good stuff, guys.
Yeah,
that's 100%. Paintball. And Joey, you stay safe. Have fun out there with the crew. I know you guys are going to be celebrating probably and enjoying that win. There we go,
baby. Going to Charlie's for sure.
There we go.
Oh shit! Yeah, well, that's a ways away. That's a ways away.
Nah, bro, we live in Florida. We go to Charlie's all the time. Yeah. Oh, that's what we do.
Oh,
we're different
all right.
levels, son. We're different levels. We're on a different thing. You guys, you guys have a little tighter budget than us over there at the Dynasty Camp.
Oh, take it easy. Take it easy.
Okay. My man,
you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, Tyler. You guys got that money like us.
Dude, Tampa Bay in the building.
There. We got Hormesis in the building. I don't know if you guys heard about Hormesis, but it's like the damn Burberry of paintball. So
I'm surprised you guys to just simply say, I don't need nothing. Just give me headbands.
Yeah, exactly.
I told that Dalton. I was like, yo, when you negotiate your next deal, tell him you want 100 headbands. Don't want just no guns. Headbands. Don't want no cash.
Exactly.
Headbands.
That's it. That's all you need. That's all you need to do. 100 Hormesis headbands, take it to the bank, baby.
That's like 80 grand right there.
100%. Man, Joey, you're the man, dude. It was awesome to sit down, talk with you. Appreciate you as well, brother. We'll see you soon.
Man. Yes, sir. Peace.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much. If you guys have made it this far, we really appreciate you. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for the support. If you would like to support the show any further, you can head over to ptgpaintball.com, click the Patreon link, and sign up at any level. It will give you access to the Discord. The Discord, I can't say enough good things about it. I say it every single time. The Discord is amazing. It is such a beautiful community where you can interact with all the pros, all the different PTG players in there. We constantly have cool stuff going on. And if you become a GOAT, oh my goodness, don't even get me started on all the cool stuff that the GOATs get. You got to see. You just got to check it out. Check it out. All right. If you need a website done, Rusty Glaze is your guy. Head over to conceptpursuit.com and hit him up. He'll definitely take care of you. All right, everybody. As always, you guys know the drill. I will see you very, very soon.